South Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
It's time for Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. The first hour of Sports Time is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you on this Wednesday afternoon. Lee Aldwin Seabury with us as well. We're Sports Time. We're with you for the next 3 hours. Plenty to get to today. Basketball, baseball, a little football, golf picks coming up in about an hour or so. And we've also got to have a couple different conversations with John Goen about his pick last week. That was not in the field, Brett. But we'll get to that a little later at 4 o'clock. Brett, how are you this afternoon?
I'm doing great, Brian. You're right. Some very untidy conversations we've got to have with our friend John going down at Timber Trust Golf. And I'm no asterisk in anything in sports, but that last week, we're going to have to discuss it with him.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're going to have some conversations. It's okay, you know. And,
yeah, it is. We'll
get through
it
as ugly as this year's golf picks have been. I think that we're all big enough to be able to move forward with this.
We will. It playing in Canada this week.
Oh, Canada, Brett. A beautiful country, a beautiful national anthem, and hopefully beautiful golf this weekend.
I think the President's Cup this fall's in Canada. I think.
Really? Wow.
I think.
Interesting.
So, quite a golfing year for
How about
Canada.
that? Shout out Canada. Didn't know they were big golfers.
Poor Edmonton last night, though.
Well, you know, it's a...
Was it last night?
No, 2 nights ago. Last night was Panthers.
You tell I'm really locked in on hockey.
Well, you know, you get your nights confused.
Yeah,
you know,
that's right.
It's okay. It's okay.
Holiday, yeah.
That's right, exactly. A lot going on this week. It's already Wednesday. Who would have thought? Yes, Edmonton, not a great game. Came out hot, could not carry it out. But, hey, that's why it's a 7-game series.
It's a 7-gamer, and hockey still has some intrigue, doesn't it? A lot of intrigue.
Certainly. A lot. I love
Do we have any
hockey.
in the NBA? Do we have any intrigue in the NBA?
I don't know. I mean, I think this...
I'm interested.
Well, certainly. But I think this Western Conference series is over.
I do too.
Fun for the Timberwolves to win one. Maybe they get another one. Who knows? But I don't think they come back and win this series. So I would say not.
I don't see how they do it. And if they do, if Minnesota comes back and wins this, what does this do to the right now refurbished reputation of Kyrie Irving? It wouldn't be on him, but everybody, some on the big apology tour for Kyrie Irving. I don't think everybody needs to be on the apology tour. What people that I heard questioning anything around him was never his ability, was never his skill set, was never his magnificence. It was always how engaged and interested he was in being a superstar.
Yeah, I mean, I think most of the things people said about him were things that they saw in his last couple of stops in Brooklyn, at Boston, and it was just kind of felt like he was hard to please. It felt like it was tough at some times.
We can't forget that, can we?
No, but
I don't think it should hang with him forever and ever.
No,
because he is a champion.
Sure, absolutely, and I think you have to get to a point with Kyrie where you realize he's a unbelievable basketball player, and something, however it became, is working in Dallas between him and Luka, and I think you just acknowledge, hey, it hasn't worked out in the past with some of his teammates, some of the franchises he's played under, but whatever has happened in Dallas, it's working, and they're playing good basketball, and you can praise that, and you can talk about how well he's playing, how well this Dallas team, for the kind of overall, has been playing this playoffs, not just this series, but really all throughout these playoffs.
The most pointed basketball criticism I ever heard about him was not being in there, not the best of ability is availability, and not seeming to be that interested. All the stuff off the court, I don't care if he thinks the earth is square. I don't care. His stand and feelings on vaccination, I mostly don't care. It's none of my business. I don't think we ever had a dialogue about it, did we?
I don't think so. I mean, I think when it comes to, like, anybody. That's what the one thing about athletes is they're just so bigger, and everything that comes with that of being a celebrity and being an athlete. But I think at times you kind of forget that they're people and they have opinions and they have beliefs, and there's other things to them than just basketball, and that's great and all of that, and they should have the right to voice those opinions, whatever they might be. But like, you shouldn't hold them against that player as a player on the court, and I think that's sometimes we get caught up in doing that with not just Kyrie Irving, but a lot of players out there.
And a lot of people from entertainment. Yesterday I was talking about the passing of Bill Walton, and I associated it with celebrity death, like with like when Tom Petty passed. A friend of mine today said, I knew you were a big Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers fan in Tom Petty's solo act, but I didn't know that big. I said, I wasn't that big.
Sure.
And another celebrity death from the music world was Greg Allman. But when I say that it hit me hard, it was a big part of my life. Here's what I really liked about Greg Allman and Tom Petty: their music.
That's right. Yes.
I didn't want to hang with them.
Right.
I didn't want to run with them.
Right.
They didn't know I was on planet Earth.
Right.
I had their 8-tracks and their albums and their tapes, cassette tapes, and then later CDs. Yeah. And then later on my zany iTunes.
Sure.
And that's all I want to watch with Kyrie Irving.
Of course.
I want to watch it. And I'm not saying shut up and dribble, but all I really care about is watching basketball as an entertainment form. Well, I don't need big public stance.
Sure, absolutely. And so I think there's people like that, but there's also people on the other side that can get so caught up in those beliefs and those things that make a person, and they can't get past it and watch basketball. There's a lot of big celebrities out there that I know have kind of had that same issue where people don't want to watch them play anymore because they have this belief or they think this and that, and it's crazy to me. I don't know.
As I said many times, Tiger Woods, main thing, only thing.
Sure.
I want to watch him swing that golf club.
That's right.
I in my life, maybe one better, and I don't even know if I can make that case about Jack Nicklaus. No more want to hang with Tiger than I do Jack Nicklaus.
Well, hey, that's a good point. But I don't know. It was a fun game last night, even though Dallas had been rolling with Kyrie, playing really, really well. They lose last night, but I'm kind of with you.
Mike Conley got him.
Mike Conley was really good. Anthony Edwards was really good. Cat, I think a lot of people have been asking for more from Cat. He was good last night. And big win for Minnesota, but now you got to do it 3 more times, and I think that's going to be tough against this Dallas team, especially if they can maybe get a little more healthy. I don't know the availability of Lively going forward, but if they get him back, he's been great throughout these playoffs. So
he took a couple of big hits Monday night.
He sure did, and one
down
of those
low and into the dome.
And that dome shot, I believe, is what kept him out last night.
Down low, he thought he was going to die.
Yes.
Dome is, you just don't know what that kind of hit's going to do in 10 and 15 years.
Sure, absolutely.
I don't think they've proved definitively anything below the equator causes dementia later in life. It just causes short term you want to die.
That's right. Yes.
Half the population.
Yes. And it's very spot on for sure. But now, because of what Boston's done, we've got us a little bit of an off night tonight in the NBA.
Howard one. You're Derek Lively. And you can only get one of those two tough hits. Down low, up high. Which one? You got to have one. You only take one.
Brett, I'm a team player, so give me the down low shot because that is only limited pain. I'm sacrificing.
Well, you are. That is the
I'm a team player, Brett. I'll go down in pain for a couple minutes, but then I'm back out on that court next game. I mean, I'm leaving it all out on the line, literally.
But that 6 or 7 minutes, that is the ultimate team player. Everybody at the end of spring football, in college football, they give out awards for spring, and there's different names at every place for them. But there's always one for a guy that I like to practice.
Sure.
Or number one practice player. And our friend Barry Jones one time said there was nothing he detested more than spring football. And one year he won the I Like to Practice award.
I love that. That's great.
But you get an award. That is the ultimate team player. I'm going to go up top and take my chances getting lost at the mall.
Hey, that's fine. I honestly, pros and cons on both sides. I don't know if there's a right or wrong answer for that one.
That really kind of short sells high hardwoods, doesn't it?
It sure does.
That's a little too difficult. On a serious but somewhat, I don't know if it's lighthearted, did Scotty Scheffler write the book? Is this the master class on how to handle embarrassing moment?
I mean, it's incredible what these last couple of weeks have been like for him. I mean, you have that whole situation play out. First off, you get arrested, you go down, and you have to sit and you're watching television of yourself in the jail
You're in
cell.
a jumpsuit in general detention.
Yes, and then you go out and play a great round of golf, and weekend doesn't probably go the way you want it to go after that, but that's okay. You go and literally have not really said anything since then about this situation at all. Just kind of let it play out, let the lawyers do their job, whatever it might be. And now we see today the charges are dropped. And I'll be honest, Brett, I might be I might get the teammate award. I wouldn't get the good person award if I was Scotty Scheffler, because if something like that happened to me, especially when you have video evidence, you have other people saying they witnessed it.
You're suing everybody.
I would have been making headlines every single day for things I was saying and things I was doing to try to make things right for myself, and Scotty Scheffler did none of that. Like you said, handled it like the ultimate professional that we all thought and knew he was before then, just kind of showing the great person he is that you hear so many people on the tour
you just know his favorite ice cream is vanilla.
That's right. That's right. That's what John said. John's always been talking to first off, John knows I love him. I don't know if John knew who Scotty Scheffler was before all of this happened. John, not a big golf guy, and I'm kidding. But John
he was on the course yesterday. Did you get scores out of him?
I did not get scores out of him, but he said
did he help any?
He said it was a difficult day out at the course.
Continue.
But no, he's been saying, Scotty Scheffler is a boring player. John has said that before, and I think a lot of people have said that. We talk about him being the face of golf and stuff like that, and kind of being that bland, just go out and do your job player.
They didn't know him in jail.
Literally. Well, the police officers clearly didn't know who he was. But for all of that to happen and to handle it like this, I think a lot of people are starting to, if they didn't know who Scotty Scheffler was, they're learning who he is, and I think just gaining respect from every single person out there for how he handled the situation.
It's incredible. Just from the world of sports, what's the percentage of from sports? I'll go entertainment as well. General society.
Okay.
Who's running and rightfully so.
Sure.
And suing everybody.
Oh,
what's the percentage?
95? I don't know. 90, 98? Yes. It's, I would say like 100, but then if there's one Scotty Scheffler, there's got to be another one out there somewhere. I just got to find him.
Later that same morning, and a lot going on, and Scotty Scheffler in his statement today, brought it back to the decedent, and that was really and it is the most important thing. I thought that morning a lot of the craziness was probably those police officers already really scarred by some watching or being around a fatality and operated outside of where they should have been. I don't really want to crush them, but we know that it was some level of inaccuracies in the story by the officer, and his past has really been laid out there. But that morning, John Daly WD'd.
That's right, yeah.
I'm convinced John Daly was 6 or 7, 8 cars behind everything, and saw all those blue lights and saw that heavy police presence and just said, nope, not doing it this morning. Random DUI stop. Can't do it.
I love that.
Turned around and said, I'm out of here.
Yep, that sounds about right. Because why else?
Maybe just coming in.
Sure.
Don't have time for this morning.
You don't know the story of what's going on. You see a bunch of cop cars. You go, yep, not today. I'll
going the other direction.
We didn't play well this weekend. We'll just cut our losses and WD this weekend. No, but an unbelievable Just way he handled it for Scotty Scheffler. And we'll talk more about that at 4 o'clock with John Lott to get to with John at 4 o'clock. Well, let me set up today's show before we get to top and not top story of the day. 3:30, Brendan Moore, a college football podcaster and blogger for CFBpod.com. He's going to join us, talk a lot of college football. Somebody I know both of us really excited to get on and join us. First time we've had him on, so should be fun in our next segment. He also covers Michigan State football, so definitely get some Michigan State as well with him. So really excited to do this. And Brett, I got some breaking news that I'll get to once we're done laying the show out. Huge news. 3:45 NBA playoffs. 4 o'clock, John Goen talks some golf from Timber Trust Golf. 4:30, we'll talk some baseball. 4:45, big number of the day. 5 o'clock, Rob Fisher will join us to talk the NBA from Grind City Media and Grizzly Television Broadcast. 5:30, we'll get to what's trending. And at 5:45, Taco Bell Crunch Time. And Brett, breaking news coming down straight from all the beat writers, Jonathan Gavoni, everybody. David Jones will keep his name in the 2024 NBA draft and forego his remaining college eligibility. A source told ESPN. This from Jonathan Gavoni, of course. So David Jones, everyone felt really good about it. I felt really, really strong that he would come back. David Jones is going to be done at the University of Memphis and give that NBA draft a shot.
I hate that. I hate that for the Tigers. I hate that for Coach Hardaway's program. And short term, I hate it for him. I hope it works out long term for him. We will speak more about it. And I'm going to say the same thing about it is that I was going to say that I expected the news of him returning. I will say the very same thing. Wish I had said it a couple of days ago to have been on the record. But I promise you what I'm going to say about now, his end of his Tiger basketball career was going to be the same thing I would have said if he had stayed.
No, I absolutely believe you. So we'll talk a ton about David Jones throughout the show and definitely get to a lot of that. But let me remind you that we're in our Family Leisure Studios where family and fun come together. Factory direct pricing on swimming pools, spas, and patio furniture. It's patio season. Come by Family Leisure. Check out the new 2024 patio furniture sets. Pool season, it is here. I know a lot of people taking advantage of this nice weather. So buy now and get in line for your pool installation and get preseason pricing. Save $1,000 to $5,000 on all spas and swim spas. Also, special pricing on all in-stock saunas, theater seating, pool tables, and outdoor kitchens, but only at Family Leisure, 2120 Witten Road, just north of I-40.
Well, we want your thoughts at 901-360-8255. Text or talk at that number. That's the Sissy's Log Cabin text and talk line, 901-360-8255. All our guests will also appear on the Sissy's Log Cabin guest line. Lee Aldwin, Seabury, Bryant Dacus, Brett Norsworthy with you until 6 o'clock. We're Sports Time, and we want you to be a part of it again at 901-360-8255. This hour of our show brought to you every day by the one and only Lexus dealership in town. That's Lexus of Memphis at 2600 Ridgeway and online at lexusofmemphis.com. Great offers on all 2024 models and always special leasing options. Drive in luxury and confidence, knowing that every new Lexus comes with complimentary first and second maintenance services. Stop by the one and only Lexus dealership at 2600 Ridgeway and put yourself in the driver's seat of the all-new 2024 flagship LS500. You'll be looking and you'll be driving in style. Their number, 901-334-9673. No need to make an appointment for any service, but you can if you would like. Lexus of Memphis, the highest standards in the industry. Online at lexusofmemphis.com. Experience amazing at Lexus of Memphis.
Top story of the day.
Well, my top story, and how could it be anything else than the news that is just breaking? Everybody reporting it. Jason Munns now has a story up over at the Commercial Appeal. So does Parth over at the Daily Memphian. David Jones is staying in the 2024 NBA draft and will not return. I'm shocked. I just texted David Cobb and said I am shocked. I did not expect this from everything I had heard, people I had talked to that are well more connected than I am with the program and with the situation. it really felt good that David Jones was going to be back. We saw what he did at the NBA Combine. Kind of struggled in those scrimmages, but obviously we don't see everything when it comes to the NBA Combine. A lot goes into it. You have the actual Combine, you have the measurements, you have the individual drills that you really don't see on television. You see some of them for the bigger names, but not everybody. We mainly see those scrimmages. David Jones did not do well in those scrimmages. He kind of came in a little short when they went for his measurements, but he had a lot of meetings with teams. He worked out for a lot of teams, and it seems like at least one of those teams gave him a great report back and said, we want you to be a part of this team. We'll find a way to make you part of this team. So he will make that decision and stay in the draft. Look, I know we're all shocked. We all wanted him to come back and be a Tiger, but if this is what he thought was going to be best for his career, then 100% support his decision and hope that his career is a great one. He definitely had a great career for Memphis last year. I wish we could have gotten him longer. And now for Penny Hardaway, you've got to, switch gears a little bit, and has a good group right now for sure. But I do think a lot of people in that program expected and thought David Jones was going to be back. Now, you would hope that they had plans behind that. And, okay, if this doesn't happen, because I know he said it was 70-30, but with both options on the table, it was always going to be 50-50. So you hope that he has plans, guys that he's going to target, maybe guys that are opting to stay in college and not go to the draft. We'll see what Penny Hardaway does now, but we know a lot of those players already on campus for summer workouts. We'll see what he does now with those remaining scholarships.
Well, that is the big story, and I will say what I was going to say when I thought, I don't know how much I would have bet on it, but I'd have bet a significant amount he was coming back. I think this is probably stunning to them.
Yeah.
You're going to get a lot of people say it's not, but I can't believe that it's not. But anyway, this is what I was going to say when the news came that he was returning. Well, good. Definitely would have preferred to go into 24-25 with him. But in 23-24 with him, you didn't win much.
Well, that's a good point. That's a fair point.
I mean, he would have helped.
Sure.
He was really good offensively. He didn't guard very much. Pretty tough handle. A lot of turnovers.
Mm-hmm.
Very ball dependent.
Yep.
I swear I was going to say I wish I'd have said this before.
No,
I really do.
I definitely believe you.
And I mean we're not talking about Penny Hardaway 1992 returning.
Well,
he didn't win jack with him.
That is true, and this team is going to be dictated this year on wins and losses, especially after how last year turned into in conference.
It's only everything.
It absolutely is. So we'll see
Seventh
what Penny Hardaway has.
Got to be in the tournament.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely with you on that.
Not top story of the day.
Well, my not top story of the day. It was going to be my top story, but obviously had to pivot a little bit.
Everything moved down, didn't it?
Everything just slots down a little bit, but earlier this morning, it's also Tiger-related, interestingly enough. Earlier this morning, interim AD Jeff Crane announced in a video posted on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it now, that Phase 1 of Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium is underway. This phase involves renovation of the second level of suites on the stadium's east side to convert that area into the new location for the stadium's press box and game operations. We've talked about this for a while. We knew this is what the phase was going to be. We knew that at least they wanted to start it at some point in May, and now with only a couple of days left in the month, it looks like that they got their wish. So definitely we know now that it has started. This process has started in terms of construction and getting in there, starting to do stuff. Jeff Crane also said that this phase will be done before the start of this upcoming season. So definitely big news on a Tiger football front as you start kind of looking towards that stadium.
My not top story, stay of elimination last night for the Timberwolves. They're young, they're cocky, and they're, I think, blissfully ignorant. But that's good to be young and cocky and blissfully ignorant. They aren't coming back in this series. But they could put a scare into Dallas. They could win up in Minneapolis, and it puts a lot of pressure on Dallas when they return back to Big D for Game 6. But if you look at all the people that are now on the Kyrie apology tour, will they reverse course if Dallas blows this and go back to and unapologize for the apology tour?
They might. I don't know. I don't know what to expect.
I don't see what they're apologizing for. I really don't. I didn't hear anything basketball related, deeply personal, and I paid no attention to the vax or the flat earth stuff. It means nothing to me. Nothing. Basketball. How many times I said, of all the people that come in to FedEx Forum, I think he may be in my top 3, maybe higher, to go see in person, especially when he was stuck in the East, and we would only get him once a year. But we can't forget how he exited Boston and how he acted in Brooklyn.
You're right about that, and kind of along the same lines that apology tour. Now, look, I love Kyrie Irving, but you're right. Even though it's working out right now in Dallas, I'm glad it's working out in Dallas. I don't think that means you should forget what has happened in the past, but I also don't think you should kill him for what happened
Boston
in the past.
is waiting on him.
Sure are. They want Dallas. If there's a team Boston wants, it's definitely Dallas to get Kyrie back in there. But let's go ahead and get to our first break, and when we come back, we're talking college football with Brendan Moore.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Guns, guns, and more guns. Over 700 firearms in stock. Home defense guns, old guns, new guns, used guns, big guns, little guns. Every gun you can think of, Classic Arms has them. All brands like Glock, Sig, Colt, Ruger, Smith & Wesson, Browning, Beretta, Benelli, Remington, Winchester, and more. Guaranteed lowest prices in town. Only gun importer in the Mid-South. Free gun inspections and appraisals and free bore sighting for the upcoming deer season. Shop online at ClassicArmsOfMemphis.com or visit Classic Arms at 1740 Germantown Parkway behind Corky's Barbecue in Cordova.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just a place where you get your oil changed. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Right, you think all those
locally
goofball
owned and operated for over 40 years, Automatic Gates Construction tailors custom gate solutions for all your residential, commercial, and industrial needs, including repairs, maintenance, and installation. Automatic Gates Construction specializes in designing and installing automatic gates and fencing that seamlessly blends security, functionality, and aesthetic appeal. Elevate the safety and efficiency of your property with a premium gate solution. Automatic Gates Construction at myautomaticgates.com.
Looking for a high-efficiency planting solution? The Case IH 2150 Early Riser Planter combines the industry's most accurate planter technologies with a rugged row unit for a fast and uniform emergence. The Case IH 2150 Early Riser operates at your speed and adapts to unique field conditions so that you can maximize your yield potential. Stop in or call Mid-South Ag Equipment at 662-890-3141 to learn more. That's Mid-South Ag, your Case IH Equipment headquarters.
Angie's List is now Angie, and we've heard a lot of theories about why.
I thought it was an eco move. Fewer words, less paper.
No, it was so you could say it faster.
No, it's to be more iconic.
Must be a tech thing.
But those aren't quite right. It's because now you can compare upfront prices, book a service instantly, and even get your project handled from start to finish.
Sounds easy.
It is, and it makes us so much more than just a list. Get started at Angie.com. That's ANGI, or download the app today.
Get ready because the Gossett Mitsubishi Motors Summer Sales Event is on, and now is the best time to buy. You want 43 MPG Highway? We Gossett in 2024 Mitsubishi Mirage, $18,960 or $279 a month. 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander Sport. We Gossett, $27,350 or $399 per month. And your summer adventure starts with 2024 Mitsubishi Outlander SE. We Gossett, $29,865 or $449 a month. Plus, every Gossett Mitsubishi comes with Mitsubishi's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. That's Gossett Mitsubishi, 1870 Covington Pike, online 24/7 at MemphisMitsubishi.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Brought HFO 9083, MSRP 19460. Sport RUO 110 764, MSRP 28070. Outlander RZO 53896, MSRP 30895. PF 695, acquisition fee 595, 15 cents excess mileage, excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Brian and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and really excited for our next guest joining us, Brendan Moore from CFBpod.com, college football podcaster and blogger. He joins us now to talk some college football as we get closer and closer by the day to the college football season. Brendan, thanks so much for joining us. I want to start off, I know you cover Michigan State a little bit. What has it been like so far this offseason through spring with new coach Jonathan Smith, and what do you expect from this Michigan State team this upcoming season with a lot of new, not just to their team, but also in the Big Ten with some newcomers coming in?
Yeah, I think new is probably the word of the year here for Michigan State. A lot of newness with the coaching staff, a pretty much entirely new coaching staff they brought in. The only one returning is the wide receivers coach, Courtney Hawkins. A ton of new transfers coming in, 25 in total between the winter and the spring window. So a lot of new transfers, a lot of new, obviously, true freshmen coming in. So it's a lot of change, and Smith making kind of that step up from Oregon State to Michigan State to a Big Ten program. So there's going to be an adjustment period for Smith when it comes to during the season. We'll see how it clicks, how these transfers hit. I think they're going to depend a lot on the transfer portal guys, especially the ones during the spring, because over half of those 25 guys they acquired during the spring. So it's going to be interesting. My expectations personally aren't super high. I do think a bowl game would be a real big step in the right direction.
How many people are wanting to very early on compare him? I see a little Saban in him at Michigan State.
Yeah, and honestly, I have not heard that yet in terms of comparing.
That's a high bar.
Just because that is a high bar. I mean, you're setting there. So, but people are just hoping Smith can get this team back to playing like they did under former head coach Mark D'Antonio. I mean, if you remember back about a decade ago, D'Antonio took them to the playoff. Yep, the Cotton Bowl in the playoff, Rose Bowl in 2013, I believe it was. So he had Michigan State as one of the top programs in the nation for like a half decade there. So I think folks are just really wishing and hoping that Smith can get him back to that.
New coach at Michigan State, new coach at the national champions, Michigan. I wouldn't even hazard a guess the last time both Michigan State and Michigan started a year, both with new head coaches, with the same old at Ohio State. The conference, if not all of college football, last year was Big Ten was champ. Does college football go through the Big Ten this year?
That's hard to say. I mean, Ohio State's obviously going to be a force this year. I think Michigan loses a little bit too much. I think they're still going to be a solid team, and I think they'll still make the playoff, but I don't think they're really a national title contender, but I think Ohio State's going to be right there. Oregon's a team I had my eye on, a new Big Ten addition, obviously. I just think the SEC overall is deeper, especially when you get past those Tier 1 teams. I mean, you look at teams like Missouri, Tennessee, even Bama, Ole Miss. There's a ton of teams in that second tier. Which if you look at the Big Ten second tier, maybe you just have Michigan and Penn State, and there's kind of a big drop-off there. So I think SEC is the deeper conference, but I think both have a really good shot at taking home a national title this year, both conferences.
Brendan Bryant and I both marvel at the success at Iowa with Kirk Ferentz, and sometimes even either the real or seeming lack of appreciation for him. What tier do you put them in? Because we always undersell them and they always over-deliver.
Yeah, no, that's a good question. Now, I'll personally put them in Tier 3 in the Big Ten. My Tier 1 would look kind of like Ohio State, Oregon, and probably Michigan, and maybe Penn State there in Tier 2. And Tier 3, kind of a mix of like your USCs, Washington, Iowa, something like that. So I'd put Iowa kind of with USC and Washington in that sort of range. But their success has been pretty mind-boggling. We'll see if it keeps up with the elimination of the Big Ten West, now that there's just 18 teams in one big conference instead of splitting it up into divisions. So obviously the offense needs to improve. I think it'll take a step forward because there's not many steps it can take backwards before it falls off of a cliff. So we'll see what Tim Lester, the new offensive coordinator, does there this year. So really curious to see what Iowa does.
Brendan, I'm not going to go into song because I want you to return and join us again as a guest, and I don't want our listeners to run off the highway. But ZZ Top had a great line about what the Big Ten is now. It's bad. It's nationwide.
Oh, yeah. I like traditional college football where it's regional conferences, so it's going to be a little bit of adjustment for fans, even for coaches. I mean, Michigan State kind of has an advantage in that respect because Jonathan Smith is familiar with Oregon, with Washington, with USC and UCLA. So there's pros and cons to both. I'm definitely going to miss the old Big Ten, though.
I know we're still kind of a good links out from the start of the season, but kind of looking around college football, we talk about the new. We talk about what these conferences are going to look like now with Texas and Oklahoma coming to the SEC and what the Big Ten is adding and, no more Pac-12. What is a storyline, a couple storylines that you're looking forward to the most for this upcoming season?
Yeah, I think I'm curious to see how the College Football Playoff Committee handles strength of schedule because we're seeing Texas and Oklahoma obviously join the SEC, the 4 Pac-12 teams joining the Big Ten. So instantly those conferences just got a lot tougher. So how will the committee handle is the decision for like the 11th seed in the playoff? How is it going to come down if it comes down to a 9-3 Big Ten or SEC team versus an 11-1 Big 12 or ACC team? Who's that committee going to favor? Obviously Big Ten SEC teams going to have a tougher schedule. So, I mean, who are they going to favor? I'm interested to see what the committee does this year. I think Kalen DeBoer at Alabama is a big story. I mean, when the greatest coach of all time retires, that's obviously huge. And DeBoer, I think he's probably a top 10 head coach in the nation. We'll see what he does. Kind of unfamiliar territory down south at Alabama. Just to see how they do. Ole Miss is a team that I think this is the year they've had circled for a long time now. Excited to see what they do. How does Missouri keep it up? They just won 10-plus games last year. So a lot of interesting storylines I have my eye on.
Whether it's accurate or not, it is perceived by so many as Ole Miss kind of the all-in. I can debate that, having a little inside information of I know a lot of coaches, they can't wait till, they're really looking forward to this year, but they're ready for 2025 because they want to show people, we're not a one-trick pony. It's not just going to be, and it hadn't been one and done. Lane Kiffin's won 29 games over the last 3 years, but this does look like a real buy-in year. Give me another team nationally that you could kind of associate with all in for this year.
I'd say Miami. I know that's going to get a lot of pushback probably because people just look at Miami, what they've been over the past 2 decades, and they look at Mario
Cristobal. They've been all out
lately. They have. I mean, you look at the records in the past 2 decades, it's not pretty for Miami standards. So about looking at what they did in the transfer portal and what they're doing in recruiting, they're really investing a ton in that. I think Cristobal's doing a good job on the talent acquisition front. I think they have enough talent there to make the college football playoff. To win the ACC, especially with Florida State, with the amount of talent they lost. So I think there's an opening for Miami to kind of slip in there and contend for an ACC title and a college football playoff spot this year.
Yeah. Brendan Moore joins us from CFBpod.com. Go give him a follow on Twitter, BMoreCFB. Brendan, I've seen a lot today, yesterday, with the SEC meetings going on in Destin. Greg Sankey, I think, talked about either today or yesterday. Some of the coaches have spoke on it as well. But one of the things they're going to discuss this week in the SEC is the availability reports that we're kind of starting to see in college football, very similar to the injury reports, just just a different name. And we know a lot of coaches, especially in college football, are very guarded. They don't want to give out too much information. They don't want you to see their weaknesses or who might be in or out. This is something that the Big Ten, I believe, started last year. What do you think about the idea of availability reports for these big conferences, really just college football in general?
Yeah, selfishly, I love them because I cover Michigan State like we talked about earlier, and it help makes our job easier.
Yeah.
So selfishly, I really like them. And what the Big Ten did is they released them, I believe, 2 to 3 hours before kickoff. So it's still kind of that happy medium of, hey, we're not going to really allow enough time for maybe the opposing coach to adjust his whole game plan around this guy being out or that guy being out. So I think it's kind of a happy medium if SEC coaches then are required to put them out just 2 to 3 hours before kickoff. I also think with gambling and how prevalent it is now, I also think that's an important part of it because some people have inside information, and then that's a black hole you don't want to go down. So I think it should be implemented across the country.
Where are you on how they're going to do the selection committee? Did you want just the blanket top 12 teams in college football, or did you want some special designation for conference champions?
Yeah, it obviously came to the 12 teams, but I would prefer just the top 12 getting in. To me, the auto bids I think are stupid. You have 5 auto bids, the 5 highest ranked conference champions. If you're a conference champion and then you're not in the playoff, then you don't deserve to be in the play. And you're not in the top 12, I should say. Then you don't deserve to be in the playoff. So, yeah, obviously the Big Ten, the SEC champs, almost always going to get in. But if you're a Big 12, you're an ACC champ, and you're not in that top 12, then to me, I don't think you deserve to be in the playoff playing for a national championship.
I wanted the best 12 teams out there, and I've been called every name you can think of for it. But
I'm with you.
I'm going to stay there because here's breaking news. Some conference champions would come in about 8th in other conferences.
Yeah, no, I completely agree, and especially in the Group of 5 conferences like the American, the Mountain West, the Sun Belt. Those teams. Even the top team there last year, Liberty was ranked in like they were in the 20, 22, 23 range, somewhere in there, and they were the highest ranked Group of 5 conference champion. So in a 12-team playoff, they would have been in. And we saw what they did against Oregon in the bowl game. It wasn't pretty, and that was with Oregon having some players opting out to go to the NFL draft. So to me, I just think the auto bid thing is a little ridiculous.
Oregon played the B team and smoked them. Brendan Moore with us, talking college football. He's a podcaster and blogger, and you can follow all his work at collegefootballpod.com. Brendan, last thing for you. So we have the 12 teams, how it is. Not necessarily the individual teams. Just give me right now your rough draft on how you think it'll break down. How many from Big Ten? How many from Big 12, how many from SEC, ACC, and the Group of 5 team? How do you think it'll break down among the 12 spots?
Yeah, I think Big 10 and SEC are probably going to dominate the field. I would say probably 3 Big 10 teams if I were to go right now. Then SEC, I'd probably say 4 or 5. And then ACC, Big 12. Between those two, I think there'll be 3 teams. I think obviously your conference champion, the ACC conference champion, the Big 12, and maybe 1 at large between the 2 conferences there. And obviously a G5 team will get in. The highest ranked conference champion from the G5 will get in. So I think Big 10 SEC is going to dominate the field.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Well, Brendan, thanks so much for joining us. This was a ton of fun getting you on, and let's definitely do this again soon.
Yeah, man. Let me know anytime. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Brendan.
Thank you, Brendan. And you can follow Brendan on Twitter at BMoore, MOORE, BMoore CFB, at BMoore CFB.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm with him. I think, and we've kind of talked about SEC is probably going to dominate these rankings, and especially when we get down to that final 12, but certainly Big 10 right there behind them.
And, Brian, I can defend that I want the top 12, and I know people already are going, you big SEC snoots, you're trying to keep out the non-Power 5. No, I'm not. Those years, Cincinnati, Central Florida, maybe even the Tigers in the Cotton Bowl year, that would have been close. Mm-hmm. I think they still get in. I think, like this year, the Tigers go that 11-1, unquestionably, if they were to upset Florida State. But if they go that 11-1, they win the AAC championship game at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium in December. they would be one of the top 12. They would get in. Might get in better than stuck in that 12th spot.
That's right. That's a really good point. And so it's gonna be interesting. I mean, first year for this 12-team playoff, and I think there's going to be a lot of wrinkles to it, a lot of things that we learn and things we like, things we don't like about it. But we'll just have to wait and see. Well, let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, NBA playoffs are rolling right along. We had the game last night between the T-Wolves and the Mavs. Also, the breaking news we talked about earlier: David Jones has opted to stay in the NBA draft. We'll talk about all of that next on Sportstime.
Join the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin, for Wolo and Friends. Weekday mornings from 10 to 11 here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
I've got Jason, the main man marshal, here, and he's ready to start something big at Gossett Volkswagen on the Pike. What's up, Jace?
Randy, I've got 42 MPG on the highway on the all-new 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for only $249 a month. Or take your pick from the 2024 Tiguan S front-wheel drive or 2024 Taos SE. We Gossett at $279.28 a month.
That's a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month. Or take your pick from 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
And Randy, you know the deal. Make me an offer, because no reasonable offer will be refused.
Ask for Jason, the main man marshal, at Gossett Volkswagen, 1875 Covington Pike. Online, GossettVWMemphis.com.
Where we're charging for it and charging less every day.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles per year. Taos RMO 51756, MSRP 26063. Tiguan RM 103,910, MSRP 31363. Jetta RMO 48802, MSRP 25506. Crossport RC 236449, MSRP 38981. Includes $3,000 rebate. Cannot be combined with special APR. Includes all rebates and incentives. PF 695. Excludes tax and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through end of the month with approved credit dealer stock only.
Yo, Mark, long time no see. You still down at Dyer's?
Man, I'm not down at Dyer's. I'm out at Collierville Historic Town Square.
When'd you move out there?
We've been out there for about 13 years. We've got the shops, the park. We got the train the kids like to play on.
You still cooking those burgers the old-fashioned way?
Man, we're still flattening out those hamburger balls on a slab of marble and skillet frying them the old-fashioned way like they've been doing for 100 years.
Dude, you still have those onion rings.
Man, they're fantastic. Hand-breaded, served up just right.
I loved those milkshakes. Please tell me you're still doing those.
Man, we are hand-dipping those shakes, putting them in the old glass in the shake tin, served the old-fashioned way.
You got any new items out there I need to know about?
We're just doing a lot of gourmet sandwiches. We've got farm-raised catfish straight out of the Delta. We've got some hot tamales from Pasquale's Tamales out of Helena, Arkansas.
Man, are they served in the husk?
What those guys like to say, they're so good, you'll suck the shuck.
Go see my buddy Mark at Dyer's Cafe in Collierville's historic town square.
Any day is a good day to sell your home. This is Sheldon Rosengarten with Mark's Benstorff Realtors, but the absolute best days to sell your home are those days that end with a Y. That's right. Numerous scientific studies, and my friend Kevin, who is also a wine connoisseur, have shown that if you want to sell your home, make sure and use my highly successful strategic marketing program and list on a day ending in a Y. Now think about it. Who would be foolish enough to not trust science and a wine connoisseur? Seriously, changes are happening in the real estate industry, and it's not just that sellers don't know the answers, they don't know the questions. That's why I'm here. If you or someone you know is thinking of selling, I always tell people to talk to 2 to 3 experienced real estate brokers and make sure that I am one of them. Find out why people often say, when you want the job done, you call Shell Done. Call me at 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com. Remember, MemphisRelocate.com or 483-0546.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. This hour is brought to you by Lexus of Memphis. Here are your hosts, Brett Stats Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, it was a super back-and-forth game last night in Dallas for Game 4 between the Mavericks and the Timberwolves. Ultimately, Timberwolves able to make more plays down the stretch late in the third quarter, throughout the fourth quarter. But it was close, and there were times where I thought Dallas was going to be able to come back and win that game. Other times I said, no way, this is going to be the Timberwolves game, and ultimately it was a Timberwolves win. I think a team that I know a lot of people here locally have a feeling one way or the other about the Timberwolves, and most of it is, dislike after what happened a couple years ago in that series and kind of the young rise of Anthony Edwards. But I'll be honest, I've enjoyed watching them play throughout these playoffs, and I think a really good team, and same with Dallas. And so I love watching these back-and-forth games, and I was glad Minnesota was able to get one last night, and I wouldn't mind if they win another one. I'm still for Dallas in this one. I picked Dallas. I'm for Dallas. I think they will ultimately win this series, but I do like the Timberwolves showing some life last night.
I didn't pick Dallas. I picked Minnesota. I'm not for Dallas. I'll never pull for Dallas. I'm never pulling for Mark Cuban. But I think they're the better team of these two. And now I'm really thinking that they've got more than a puncher's chance against Boston when we get to the NBA Finals. They still have one more to take care of. The contempt 2 years ago for the Timberwolves, I had none for Anthony Edwards. I had none for Karl Anthony Towns. Mine mostly was at Pat Bev.
Sure.
And, he's no longer a part of it. And now a little affinity for them because of Mike Conley. Do you think there's anybody in #GrizzFam pulling for Minnesota because of Kyle Anderson?
No. I did see some people last night, Kyle Anderson had a good game last night, and people were saying, oh, man, there's slow-mo. There's slow-mo.
He's good for two.
No, I think it is funny how, and obviously two completely different Grizzlies when you're talking about them as players, but everyone talking about Conley, and you forget, slow-mo was a Grizzly.
Yeah, he was, and you got Josh Minot, who's riding the bench for Minnesota. Any #Tiger fan love out there?
No, I don't think so. But Josh Minot, he kind of plays for the cameras. He's always over on the bench when there's a big dunk or kind
of like a young
three.
Cameron Payne.
Yeah,
on the sideline.
He's over there giving, he's doing all the whatever to try to get the camera on him. It feels like good for him.
He is. I thought last night was Cat's night.
Yeah, it was. And, I think Cat's one of those weird players where it feels like you either love him or you hate him. And, good player.
Shaq told him to get his big rear end down low.
That's right. And get down there.
Much more colorful language.
Certainly. But no, he played really well last night. And
Brian, I'm in a viewing quandary.
Uh-huh.
I'm not going to watch Draymond Green.
Sure.
Now I got Chris Paul in my face on the ABC coverage.
That's CP3. Wow. So you're getting
all I want is give me Michael Wilbon, give me Stephen A, and a little bit of Kendrick Perkins.
That's right. And
I look up and Chris Paul's in my face.
Yeah, that's right. Wow. That does sound like an
we'll
issue
never forgive him for the Clipper days ever.
Brett, that was a time. I mean, I don't know if I will ever forget the Grizzlies and Clippers
Hank
series.
McDowell called them Clipper scum.
Oh, I like that. I like that. Really, get behind it. That's great. No, but you're getting both of them, TNT in ABC now with CP3. I missed CP3 on ABC, so
he's prominent.
I'll have to keep an eye out for him.
I love Michael Wilbon and Stephen A., but I can't take Chris Paul.
Wow, yeah, I guess you got to figure that out. You got some time.
I hardly could pull for him on the Olympic team.
Well, I'm glad this year I guess won't have that issue.
No, he's nowhere near it.
So and I don't think there's anybody on this team that you have that same passion
I don't think so.
for.
I want this team to
dominate,
go to Paris
after what happened in FIBA last year
and bring down the house.
Yeah.
I mean, average margin by 40, and I want somebody, and you can get ready for Christine Brennan. Is it really necessary to beat Angola by 80?
Yes.
Well, yeah, it was.
Yes. No, I'm excited, Brett. I've seen so many commercials now. Like, the commercials are really starting to fire up.
They are.
For the Olympics this summer. It gets me excited. Me and Melinda the other day, I forgot what we were doing, but and I don't know why this even came up, but we went through the Olympic sports and was like,
oh, you did? You got a head start on me.
Well, not that. Not what we've done or what we would do. What she would be willing to watch in the Olympics.
Okay,
and
that's a good one.
I mean, a lot of these sports, she's never watched before, like, canoeing and stuff like that.
But we can ride a bicycle.
Exactly. And I forgot, there was one.
I can swim. It's believe it or not, it is even much slower than me running.
Well, hey, how about that?
But I can run.
Well, I forgot. There was one sport, and I can't
even
remember.
Walking.
Yeah, walking's good.
Have you ever thrown a shot put?
I've not. I've not done anything field-wise.
So I did. I'm like in 7th or 8th grade.
Geez.
I decided I'm going to go out for track.
Okay.
Which, you could time me with a sundial. So, I'm going to have to do something with the field events.
Sure.
And it looked too precision with the discus, and there was no javelin or hammer throw.
Right.
So it was discus or shot put. I said, well, I'll get the lighter shot put. Boy, I wound up.
Oh, no.
I'd watch them on TV do it. I wound up and I let it go.
Oh, no.
It didn't go 6 inches. And I didn't drop it either. Man, I took a big heave, and I promise you, it didn't go a foot.
Oh, geez. Well, hey, but you can check it off when we get to our
Olympic
list. Yeah, something I cannot check off. So that is the difference. But let's go ahead and wrap up this hour and get to a break. And when we come back, we're talking a whole lot of golf with John Goen.
There are many real estate companies out there, but then there's Banyan Tree Realtors on the Collierville Town Square. There are hands-on, family-owned boutique real estate companies whose agents have been offering exceptional attention to their clients for over 40 years. In an ever-changing world, Banyan Tree continues to maintain a small-town personal charm while providing a worldwide connection through its internet marketing presence. Personal service will never go out of style at Banyan Tree Realtors. Their agents are people you can trust, offering service you deserve. From residential homes to commercial properties, farmland, land lots, and historical houses, Banyan Tree has the expertise you can rely on. So if you're downsizing, upsizing, moving in, or moving on, give Banyan Tree Realtors a call today. Craig Smith and Mary Jean Smith and their agents are ready to serve you. Call today at 901-620-8920 or 901-359-2520.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. ED6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG $510,849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE78169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
With your choice of select sandwich, nugs, fries, and a drink, Wendy's $5 Biggie Bag is your go-to. Your nugget wingman. Your hot and crispy fry co-pilot.
Just like us. We're like the bag boys.
What?
Bag boys, bag boys. What you gonna do? What you gonna do when we bring your food?
For a deal you can count on, bet on Biggie and choose wisely. Choose Wendy's.
Bag boys, bag boys.
U.S. price and participation may vary. Includes choice of JVC or crispy chicken sandwich with 4-piece nugs, junior fry, and small soft drink. Third-party delivery pricing may be higher.
Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company, we have it all. From handmade Amish leather belts, fine and casual clothing, boots, casual boots, work boots, fancy boots, and even safety-toed boots. Lots of cowboy hats to choose from, even Nebo lights, good-looking duck head dress shirts, duck head caps, shorts, and pants. Tons of jeans from Ariat, Wrangler, Devil Dog, and Kimes Ranch jeans. At Hewlett & Dunn, we have a great selection of Old South t-shirts and caps. Fine clothing from dress to casual to Sunday best. Enjoy choosing from UFO's orthopedic-approved shoes. Hewlett & Dunn Boot and Clothing Company. Boots of every size, every color, every skin. Great quality Western, work, and safety toe boots. Hewlett & Dunn Boots and Clothing Company. 111 North Center Street, Collierville. Hewlett & Dunn. Hewlett & Dunn, serving you and your family since 1961.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
Hey, Mid-South, I've got Marty McNay getting back to the past on these prices at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown.
This is heavy, Doc. I mean, Randy. Let's go with 42 MPG Highway and a 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE for $249 a month. Or take your pick from a 2024 Tiguan S or 2024 Taos SE for only $279.28 a month.
Great Scott, McNate! You got it going on at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown on Winchester Road. Let me hit those deals again. 2024 Volkswagen Jetta SE, $249 a month, or take your pick. 2024 Tiguan S or Taos SE, $279.28 a month.
Your future is whatever you make of it, Randy, so let us help you make your future down here at Gossett Volkswagen Germantown, 7420 Winchester Road, or shop online at GossettVWG.com.
All 36-month lease, 7,500 miles per year, 20 cents excess mileage. Jetta number RMO 46526, MSRP 26996. Tiguan RM 103910, MSRP 31363. Taos RM 00174, MSRP 31414. Includes all credit and incentives. PF 695. Excludes DTNL. See dealer for complete details. With approved credit dealer stock only. Offer expires into the month.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. The police are busy with a couple of non-injury accidents. It's looking good right now coming through the Midtown area. Over here on 240 southbound, we checked it from South Parkway all the way down to Norris. 240 east is a little bit bogged down at times. Just at slow go traffic for this time of the afternoon on 240 east up by Popular. Nothing too out of the ordinary as it builds down through South Haven. Just in the last few minutes on 55 going southbound. Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full service family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now from Timber Trust Golf, John Goen joins us to talk some golf and make some picks. John, thanks so much for joining us again. How are things at Timber Trust today? I know a group of people out there this afternoon, so I hope the place is still standing. My brother and his friends are out there. But how are things going at Timber Trust this week?
It's good. We've had a good week to this point. Just obviously with Memorial Day being on Monday, we're playing a little catch up right now on a few things. But we've had a busy week, and can't complain. I mean, just sitting out here on the right hand side of 12 fairway, enjoying the afternoon, and waiting on a delivery of sand. So yeah, it's not been too shabby here. Still waiting for, I guess, summer and growing weather to get here, but yeah, it's definitely been I guess more spring than we normally get here in the Memphis area.
John, are you waiting on sand for bunkering, or are you waiting on sand for top dressing?
Top dressing sand.
And there's quite a difference, isn't it?
Yeah, we top dress greens every single week. So we verticut and mow on Tuesdays and Wednesdays, or Tuesdays, and then mow on with greens on right behind it, and then we throw sand on Wednesday, so we can kind of get it drug in, let it settle in. We'll leave greens alone for a couple of days, and then we'll start mowing everything again on Friday, and kind of get ready for the weekend. But it's just been a really good cultural practice for us to be able to keep things on the firmer side from that perspective with just a real light top dressing on a weekly basis. It helps with speeds, it helps with grain, it helps just a lot of different things on multiple levels. So just a weekly habit for us.
John, put your teaching hat on. Could you take a decent player that's got some abilities? I'm not talking about somebody that's never touched a club. Could you take somebody of some ability and make them a good to decent bunker player?
Yeah, I mean, I think folks with short game in general, I think a lot of players are trying to help the ball instead of just really. I mean, you hear it talked about so much about just kind of maybe letting the club do a lot of the work, but in some of those situations, it's very, very true. And bunkers are one of those areas where, I mean, realistically, we're not trying to make contact with the golf ball.
It's just frightening to be in one, though, for most of us.
It is, but yeah, and contradictory, you hear this a lot probably when you're watching your golf casts, is those guys are begging for the ball to get into bunkers.
Oh yeah, they ain't hard.
because a bunker in a lot of situations for tour players is better than trying to hit out of a inconsistent lie
to the bottom of rough.
in the rough. Because is the ball sitting up? Is the ball sitting down? Is there the chance that we you get a little bit of a cuppy lie and it jumps out out of the rough or things along those lines. So sand is not something that should ultimately be feared, especially if bunkers are maintained and things along those lines. It's actually a lot simpler shot. But I think, again, in general, a lot of mid to high handicappers are always trying to help the ball in the air, and that's what gets them in trouble, as opposed to just, it's like any other golf shot for the most part, hitting down into it and allowing the club and the loft of the golf club and the bounce of the golf club be able to really to work and hit that shot that's a little bit simpler.
John, what do you think causes the most first tee jitters angst?
Well, if you're at Timber Trust, it's the road on the right-hand side.
Yes, that for sure. I've seen that in play, and I've hit it there.
If it's anything else, I mean, if you're playing in an event, let's face it, it's all about the start of your round. If you're in a PGA Tour event, there's a lot of people sitting there watching you. Granted, those guys ultimately, for the most part, I think get fairly accustomed to it. I think majors are different. I think Ryder Cups are different. I think a lot of it is just the pressure of the tee shot. Now, for so many of us, there is the automatic breakfast ball. So I think for so many of us nowadays, the first tee shot probably doesn't have near the pressure unless it is much more of a tournament round of golf. But I think that generally it's just, it's that first tee shot. It's depending on the event or whatever that you're playing in, it can put a lot of pressure on how the rest of the round goes too, because are you having to then make up for whatever just happened, or are things off to a good start and we can kind of move forward and play our normal round of golf with our buddies and have a good time. So There's a lot to that first tee shot that can, I guess, ultimately help or hurt. Now, granted, I have had great warm-up sessions and played terribly, and I've had terrible warm-up sessions and played pretty well. So the other side of that is that, if you're one of those folks that like to show up and warm up before your round, you can have that side of it as well. Man, I hit it so well on the range, and I come over here and I didn't hit it all that well, or I didn't play all that well, or I hit it terribly on the range, and all of a sudden it's the focus of having to hit that tee shot down the middle of the fairway or in a fairway or whatever that draws, I think, a little bit different focus than what you normally get just in either a warm-up session or a practice session on the range.
I've got to be honest, John, and maybe this is more telling on my golf talk knowledge. Never heard the phrase breakfast ball before. I had to look it up, and might be my favorite phrase now. I'm going to be using it the rest of my life, thanks to you.
Well, Brian, I'm glad I can help. It's the little nuances that we try to, introduce here a little bit. So
it's your golf lesson to me today, John.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner ball.
Oh,
some people like hitting a small bucket off the first tee, the old hit to your happy off the first tee. There's plenty of them. I mean, we've got
drive down there and put one at the
150-yard
marker if you need to.
Exactly.
But John, that is one thing that you are really stressing, that you really wanted to. My words, not yours, after you left corporate golf of, man, have fun. Get to a set of tees and have fun. Nobody's out there playing for a PGA Tour card.
No. I mean, look, guys, I'm realistically, if I was still trying to play somewhat competitively in just some section events from the PGA perspective or whatever, I mean, the golf course here at Timber Trust is 6,700 yards all the way back. And realistically, that's probably where I should be playing because a lot of our events are at least that length. Our group plays from the blue tees here, and it's like 6,200 yards. But, it's enjoyable for me. I mean, to be able to come out and play with the guys and have the par fives that are reachable and have some shorter holes, especially on the front. And then you got to think about it a little bit more on the back. The back nine here is 400 yards longer. You get to hole 13, realistically hole 12. I mean, to have to hit it over the creek there on 12, it's the longest par five on the golf course. And then you make the turn and you got a little dogleg right on 13. 14 is just a nice little par three, and then 15 is a little bit more on the lengthy side. 16 you have to creek down the left. 17 is a really good par three that usually plays back into the wind a little bit, and then 18 you got the water all the way down the left hand side. I think arguably could be the best finishing public golf course hole in the city of Memphis from that perspective. But again, I think if you play from the right set of tees, and you go out with your friends, it just makes it enjoyable. It makes it enjoyable for me to be able to, not have to go out and grind to try to shoot a certain score that's still somewhat in my head as to how I should play. And, we have fun. We probably have too much fun at the end of the day, on multiple fronts but that's what we're here for. I mean, that's literally what we're here for. And hopefully when people show up and come play the golf course and, the way that Kelly and everybody down here greet you, that they feel welcome. They feel like they're at home. They feel like that this is a place where they can come and be a part of a golf community that, likes to be around other folks that like to play golf, and that's realistically what we're trying to create down here.
Yeah, absolutely. Talking to John Goen from Timber Trust Golf. John, we were talking about it earlier to start the show about Scotty Scheffler, all of his charges were dropped in Louisville this morning. We were kind of talking about how he handled it, this whole situation from start to finish. What have you
Did that
made?
surprise anybody, by the way?
No, not
Did
at
that
all.
surprise anybody?
No, it's kind of what I expected.
Took too long, probably.
A little bit. But I mean, what do you make it? Because last week, what did we have? What was it? The mayor, or something like double down
the mayor,
on
chief of police.
Yeah,
no.
and now we finally have him dropped. What have you made of this whole thing?
Right. Well, I think that it's just exactly what we said. I mean, I think this was the expected outcome. Unfortunately, in this situation, a lot of the stuff about the officer involved has come out. Clearly, he has some challenges with the authority that he has, and I think that we all felt like as the more and more of the details started to come out with regard to what happened, that there was just a bit substantial overreaction in this situation, and didn't seem like that there was a lot of wanting to get to the bottom of it. It was, this is what happened, and this is what is going to happen to this individual, and the funny part too is one of the things we've talked about. I can't remember whether we discussed it or the our group discussed it, but I mean, like, seriously, there's not a conversation like every single morning in the pre-shift meeting of, hey guys, just as a reminder, there is a PGA event in town this week that might run into a few more folks, especially if you're in this area. Just we just want to be mindful of what's going on. But clearly, there's no conversation as to what was happening. With the unfortunate accidents and everything else, and then Officer Gillis kind of overstepped his bounds there a little bit, and I think it's the right outcome, though. I think clearly it's the right outcome. I think this is a utter waste of time if this would have continued forward.
Yeah, all very regrettable. And then, as Scotty Scheffler said in his statement today, the person that lost their life, most important, and out of the PGA Tour over the weekend, the loss of Grayson Murray, who would have been here in Memphis at our tournament. He would have been in the top 70. He would have been here in Memphis. And whatever the circumstances, just very sad. John, what do you think is the toughest sport on youngsters? We're all starting so early with travel baseball and AAU basketball and 7-on-7 football, and golf has always brought them out really early, and it's no team with golf. You're out there, and I'm not saying that contributed to it, and that's the reason, but boy, we do put our youngsters through a lot now at golf. What do you think is the toughest sport on a young person?
I don't know whether there's one you can single out, Brett, to be honest. I think that, I think to your point, the pressure from an athletics perspective nowadays, because everything has a competitive set. If you've got your kid playing, soccer, they've got competitive soccer, obviously here locally with Lobos and Legends and all these other teams. If your kids play lacrosse, there are traveling lacrosse teams. If your kids play golf, there's obviously AJGA and Hurricane Junior Tour and SNEDS events and whatever else. It's unfortunate on many fronts, and I always told both of my girls that, look, if y'all want to get involved in golf, or if you want to get involved in whatever sport you want to play, and if you want to try to be as competitive as you want to be, and you want to try to, play it in college or whatever, I am here to help you as much as you want me to help. But I'm not pushing you. I'm not going to be the one that is going to drag you to wherever if you don't have the drive and the determination to do it yourself. And so, both of my girls played lacrosse. and they played competitive lacrosse, and they enjoyed it. And neither one of them played it in college. One played a little bit in a club group, but that's what they were looking for. And I think sometimes, you've got some folks that are involved in this that see all this potential and everything else, probably too much potential in either their child or somebody else's child. And that's when the pressure starts ratcheting up, and then there's the push. And you see it so many times. You've seen it in football. You've seen it in golf. And you've seen it in many other sports, gymnastics and other things. And so I don't think that there's one sport that singles out the stress and pressure and anxiety that is put on kids nowadays. I think that they all have it to a fairly equal amount, and I think that unfortunately too, there's a lot of external. It's not internal.
Sure is.
It's either the coaches or the parents or
Sometimes
whatever.
Sometimes dad wants it more than the young player.
Mm-hmm. And that's to my earlier comment. I mean, look, I want this as bad as you want it, and if you don't want it, that I'm not going to push you. I've been fortunate. I mean, my oldest daughter has actually come back to golf as she was in college, and loves playing golf recreationally. She played a little bit in middle school. My youngest daughter is wanting to get into golf now for a few different reasons, and so it's nice to see them come back to it, but not have me force it on them.
Right.
They want to do it a little bit more from a social perspective. So
and John,
that's been enjoyable.
I've never been a parent, but that's the same thing as playing the piano or maybe in a acting cast or whatever thing you do, you want youngsters to do things. It's just so much better when they kind of lead themselves to it instead of being forced. But it was sad news over the weekend. I wish, and I know why he's still there, and this is not a shot, but I wish the tour would take Grayson Murray off the FedEx Cup list and go back to the scoreboard last weekend and remove where he WD'd. I mean, look, I know what happened. I know what happened. I don't think that needs to be out there. And his poor parents. And what a classy written statement. You could tell that statement from his parents that wasn't a PR firm. Mm-hmm. That wasn't anybody said that was their writing of it, and it was really nice. This week, the tour in Canada, we had one of the great stories last year in Canada with a Canadian winning.
Yeah, we did.
That was the first time since 1957. I didn't look. I wonder when the last time Canadians went back-to-back.
Oh.
So we pick at the Canadian Open, and I start first, and he's not Canadian. I start with Rory McIlroy.
That's a good pick. Oh, Rory.
He's really not Canadian. You're right.
Lee Aldwin.
Who are we picking, Lee Aldwin?
My first pick, I'm going with Tom Kim.
Okay,
Tom Kim, right?
Good pick.
Give me the man that lost it last year on Sunday, Tommy Fleetwood.
And we affectionately refer to Bryant now as Bagel Boy after last week. I was just asking a question.
Hey, John, you going to pick Victor Hovland this weekend? John,
we've discussed on these airwaves and in private the very real asterisk by your on your banner this year if you were to hang it.
Whatever. There's just the sheer amount of jealousy and angst from you guys. It's just
it's always better to pick somebody that's in the tournament.
Right. I mean.
Well, I can only go by what OWGR gives me, and if they don't record withdrawals on their site,
with technology fails us now,
kind of just seems a little,
Yeah, who's your pick this week? Number one.
Thank God for old Seth Straka. So this week we'll take. Well, let me make sure. I'll go to the PGA Tour app as well, just to make sure, because OWGR failed me last week. I will take Cameron Young.
Cam Young, good pick. Back to me for shock. I take World OWGR number 76, the lefty, Robert McIntyre. Give me team almost Scotland, but Ireland and Scotland.
I like that.
For McIlroy and McIntyre.
Do Irish and Scottish people actually get along, though? I mean, I don't know whether.
I bet they do because they're in the same tax bracket.
Oh, okay.
Well, Bobby McIntyre is not quite in Roy's tax bracket.
No, I don't think so.
No, he's not.
I'm going with Taylor Pendrith.
All right.
Canadian.
I like that.
Bryant?
Let's see. I will go with his name's listed as Adam Svensson. This weekend he's going to be Adam Winson because he's going to win it this weekend.
Okay. How about that, John?
Almighty.
Look what we've created.
Oh, my word.
John, your shock pick.
Oh, my shock pick's going to be Alex Noren.
You've been there with him, and he might be there for you. Tell us everything going on at Timber Trust. Do we have a carryover tomorrow night for the scramble? The weekend ahead, and you're right, very short, busy week for y'all.
We were really, really close. We had one group absolutely ruin everybody's week last week. So, unfortunately, no carryover again. But obviously 2-man tomorrow night, should be pretty nice overall, before the weekend. And, the weekend's going to be a little hit and miss, from a weather perspective. So I think there's still going to be plenty of opportunity to be able to come down and play golf and, experience everything. And then, next week looks great as well. So it looks like we're really kind of getting into a good little stretch for golf. And, I think I mentioned it a few weeks ago. It's hard to believe that it's just now June. It feels like that it could potentially already be, August or September. It just every so often I've got to remind myself that we're still extremely early in the season. Just because the way the weather's been. I mean, May wound up being cooler and wetter and everything else. But, let's see. So really our next event's going to be the Timber Trust Open. It's our 4-person scramble that you can play in. You'll pick a tour player that makes the cut in the top 20 of the U.S. Open. That's going to be at Pinehurst this year. That's always a fun event. We kind of cap that out at about 12 teams, but it's a 4-person scramble. And those always sell out pretty quick. We're just a few weeks away and that'll probably be sold out potentially by next week. So if you do have a team, feel free to, call us 662-895-3530. Visit us at timbertrustgolf.com. You can, follow us on social at, Timber Trust Golf Course on both Facebook and Instagram. There are some registration links on there that you can go ahead and register for those events through Golf Genius. So, but should be a fun little event as the first two have been with Magnolia Open and of course the SIP was just a couple of weeks ago. So. Yeah. Golf course again has been in good shape. It should be a really good week of weather to be able to come out and come to North Mississippi, visit the Timber Trust Golf Course.
Well, John, enjoy your weekend, and we'll talk to you again next Wednesday.
All right, thanks, guys. Enjoy the golf this weekend.
Thanks, John.
Take care.
John Goen from Timber Trust Golf joining us every single week to talk some golf and make our weekly picks. We need to get to a break. When we come back, a lot of baseball from last night, some interesting storylines going on in Major League Baseball, but we've also got a lot of games underway, some even complete, including the Cardinals. Another win for them today. So let's get to a break. When we come back, we're talking baseball.
Broadcasting from the Family Leisure Studio, we are Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Looking for sports in all the wrong places? Try the Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square. Fun, friendly, exciting, and comfortable with wall-to-wall TVs for all your favorite games, 24 taps for all your favorite beers, including NA and local craft beers, and an in-front-of-the-wall full bar for all your other favorite beverages, including a full wine list. Add in an upscale menu, patio seating, daily specials, and events, and you found all your sports in the one right place. The Owner's Box Sports Bar and Grill in Lakeland Town Square, Highway 70.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We got
Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 due at signing, all 24-month lease, plus 0% APR for 48 months available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike, online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6 P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE $781,69, MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
This is the story of the one. As head of maintenance at a concert hall, he knows the show must always go on. That's why he works behind the scenes, ensuring every light is working, the HVAC is humming, and his facility shines. With Grainger's supplies and solutions for every challenge he faces, plus 24/7 customer support, his venue never misses a beat. Call quickgrainger.com or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning repair team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Around here at Wrangler, we are all excited for spring. The longer days, the warmer nights. When you've got your pick of shorts and jeans, either works just fine. Blue skies, open roads. Wrangler, for the ride of life.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon. The police are sorting out a couple of earlier accidents. Here's what we see. Traffic building pretty good over here on 40 East, coming past Warford, Hollywood, working your way over to White Station. 240 East, well, it's busy, but it's moving right now. It's just trying to get heavy at times on. 240 East here at Poplar. 240 getting on to 385 Billmores Parkway, headed out towards Collierville. Actually looks pretty good. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64 is your full-service, family-owned jewelry store right here in the Memphis area. Go by and see them. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant and Brett with you. We got a lot of baseball to talk about. Some really interesting games from last night, but also some good games today. As we've got a couple of finals, a lot of games going on right now. With it being a Thursday, a lot of teams play during the day. And one of those teams that played earlier today, the St. Louis Cardinals, another win, back-to-back wins over the Reds. Brett, don't let them get hot.
Let them get hot. Let them get hot. 27-27. It was a back alley brawl to get back to 500. The high water mark for the season's 1 over 500. Whew. The last time the Cardinals were 2 over 500 was at the end of the regular season in 2022.
You bring that number up every once in a while, and I'm telling you, Brett, every time you do, it blows my mind.
That's the futility. And I will remind people, in a full 162-game season, to play all 162, the Cardinals have never had back-to-back losing years.
Crazy. Well, certainly
had back-to-back losing years in the late 50s when the schedule was 154 games.
That's
and they had back-to-back in 90, 94 and 95, but both those years abbreviated over labor issues.
Interesting. So, yeah, it'd be something if they finish under 500 this year. But no, playing well. Bullpen game today. Palante making the start for them. Looked really good today, and that's kind of been the issue.
I didn't know
them.
It was inning.
No, I didn't either, and that's kind of been the issue for this Cardinals team is they've got a couple of good guys to start, but then they get where they need a bullpen day, and it's like, who are they going to throw? Is it going to be Libby, who's giving them a couple of good games, or who's it going to be? And Palante goes out today and has a really good day. So if you can get more of that from him, I think that's huge.
A lot of stories out there that the Toronto Blue Jays will be sellers, big sellers,
how about that?
might start selling quickly. Do you think the Cardinals have anything to offer up in a deal to okay, maybe not for young Bichette, maybe not for young Guerrero, but how about this? Just for George Springer.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't know what it would take to get a guy like Springer, and I don't know if the Cardinals really have that right now, because they don't have a ton, and I know they have a couple stars, but how much can those get you with where they're at in their age? I think interesting tonight for the Blue Jays. Alek Manoah going again, 1-2 with a 3.97 ERA this season. A guy that we know the whole stories about him last year were sent down all the way down to the complex league, and then now spent a lot of the start of the season. Exactly. And now this year started in AAA and now back with the big league team. Has pitched well, but interesting to see what he does tonight against the still bad White Sox.
Doubleheader today to start the long baseball day in Detroit.
Yeah, how about that?
With some young pitching going out there. Skubal goes out there for the Tigers in game one.
Yeah.
And in game two, Skeens goes. And I can tell you, in the City Connect uniform world, it would be a waste of diesel and matches to burn the Tigers uniforms.
Well, that's one thing that I'm not a fan
Those
of.
are so hideous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want you putting those at a landfill. The EPA may not allow it.
Yeah, some of them are just, it feels like they're trying so hard to be like futuristic and like new age in terms of like styles and jerseys.
The Tigers City Connect looks to me like, let's try to sell this to a 12-year-old that's torn between being a fan of baseball and Arsenal.
Yes. Or even like baseball or superheroes. Like it almost, to me, looking at them, looks like a superhero day jersey.
And without even knowing, I bet you could do a Google search real quick of kind of, because everybody's got themes and a tribute to this and why we're doing that. And I'm sure the Detroit Tigers have some highbrow, this is why we're doing this is a tribute.
Of course.
That if you criticize it, you're a big meanie.
Of course. I don't know if I'd be able to find it that quickly, but yes, every team has that, and they have the little
that whole
things.
Tribute to the Cardinals. I mean, it encompassed back to 1882.
I think they try to dig so deep to just try to find anything that can give them any sort of
shield
inspiration.
you from criticism.
Yes, that too.
Well, you mean you criticize that?
Yeah.
Why are you so mean?
Yeah, I can't find something real quick to maybe this is it, maybe not. I don't know, but yeah, there's definitely something behind it.
I've seen very few City Connects I really like.
Yeah, I can usually find something.
Colorado's about the best.
Yeah. Let's see.
Boston, that yellow's starting to wear on me, which I'm sad of.
Yeah, I don't like the Boston jerseys, I'll be honest. I'm not a huge fan.
Just really never associated yellow with the Boston Red Sox.
Mm-hmm. No, not at all. A lot of the
let's see here, red. It wasn't Yellow Sox.
No, Red Sox. A lot of this Detroit jersey is super hyper-focused on being Motor City and obviously the history they have with automobiles. Because I don't think I even noticed, and I've watched them play in these jerseys a couple of times, but down the front is tire marks on their jersey. And I don't think I really noticed.
Insert the Gap band here, burn rubber on me.
Yes, exactly. So no,
we got tread on the front of our jerseys.
I don't know. I don't know.
And the Tigers' historic home uniforms, if that doesn't appeal to you, I don't think you're going to be a baseball fan.
Might not be for you.
I think we may need to count you out.
Yes. Because, when you talk about all-time classic uniform, Detroit Tigers right up there.
Ooh, have you seen what the New York Giants are going to run out in football this year?
Oh, yeah, Brett. I think I talked about that one of the days you were out, maybe when you were in St. Louis. Oh, it's really bad.
It makes really the Bumblebee uniforms for the Steelers look great.
Yeah. No, it's not good at all.
What are you doing? Now, I've always said about any of these tributes, and again, they scotch it in such highbrowed, hushed tones that if you criticize it, it makes you out to be public enemy number one. But here's what I'd love to do. So you want to have any tribute you want.
Sure.
Back to the Gas House Gang or back to, the 1880s. Set ticket prices at that amount.
Oh, I love that idea, Brett.
Let's see if you'll set a Coca-Cola and a beer at those throwback prices. I bet not.
No chance. You just mentioned something interesting a couple minutes ago. You talked about the young pitching in this doubleheader between the Pirates and the Tigers today. Every pitcher, four starting pitchers today, all of them under 27 years or 27 and younger. 3 of them 23 or younger.
I love that.
So super young.
See, I think that's what should excite a younger fan.
Yeah, absolutely. Skewball's the oldest at 27, but then you've got both Skeens and Jared Jones, both 22 years old, and then Kyra Montero, who started for Detroit.
Casey Mize, not much older than any of that.
No, not much older at all. But Montero, 23 years old, so a lot of young pitching today in this series. So I like that a lot. But it's been fun. Did you see? I wanted to get to this before we got to a break. Last night, I know we talked about it. And now I can't remember what team it was earlier this season. Oh, it was Paul Skeens with the Pirates. But last night, Cubs rookie Ben Brown rolling 7 innings down, no hitter. They decide to pull him. That game ends up, they get the win. That game ends up going to extra innings. Kind of scary. I've heard a lot of people going back and forth today about, do you, don't you, do you leave him out there? What do you do? I'm always on the side of leave him out there and see what happens because he was rolling. But a very interesting game last night between the Cubs and the Brewers. Really good pitching matchup. You got Ben Brown on one side that struck out 10 in 7 innings, and then on the other side, Freddie Peralta struck out 11, only gave up 1 run in like 5.5 innings. So really, really good pitching last night in that series.
And you had the odd play in extra innings of the ball hit right back to and caromed off the pitcher, and he was down and couldn't recover, and the Cubs looked like they were in a relay race around the bases.
Yeah, and so it's interesting. That makes me think back to over the weekend when Ronald Acuna went down with his injury, and he was going to steal and kind of breaking, and they walked right over to him while he's down in pain, tag him with the ball, and you're out. And personally, I was not mad about it because I had a no-runs first inning to start the game. So
who didn't? Who didn't have a no-runs first inning that day?
Played out in our favor. Unfortunately, though, he was injured. But yeah, so I don't know. Very weird game last night between the Cubs and Brewers, but has been a fun series to watch, especially with Craig Counsell going back to Milwaukee against the Brewers. And,
they booed him heavily on pitching changes.
Those fans not a fan of him right there. Sure
They got all over Doogie Howser. I don't know why they're so mad at him. He never won anything with them.
It's a good point.
What'd they lose?
Yeah, good point. We're not
talking about losing Connie Mack.
That's right. No.
I mean, Craig Counsell never won a thing.
No. And I don't know. Probably won't win. Hopefully, won't win anything in Chicago either.
It's not Bobby Cox. I mean, come on. I saw that reaction and I thought y'all just ready to boo.
Yeah, y'all just wanted something to boo at.
Describe where the Cardinals are. What would you? How would you describe this 27 and 27?
Oh man. I don't know. I would describe roller coaster would probably be the first word to describe it because it has not
mirage, real what?
Too early to tell. I don't know. I mean, I
don't trust it.
I wanna buy into it, Brett, and say, wow, they've turned a corner. They're figuring it out. But I catch myself before I do it every time.
Water's going to find its level with Mason Wynn offensively.
Yeah. Oh, man, Mason Wynn's been great. Holy cow.
I think he's set for the next 12 years. Mm-hmm. Got to get and I'm stealing this. Brad Thompson said it in the broadcast today. The big guys, Goldschmidt and Arenado, they have to start performing to the back of that baseball card.
Oh, got to. And, Arenado is – I think it was over the weekend where he kind of talked about his offensive production and where his swing's at right now and how, quite frankly, he just has not been very good this year. So who knows? We'll see, but definitely playing good ball right now, back up to 500, and we'll see what this weekend has in store for them. But let's go ahead and get to a break. When we come back, it'll be time for Big Number of the Day.
You already know you can listen to Sports 56 anywhere with the Sports 56 app or at sports56whbq.com. But you can also watch us daily with live video of all of our shows on Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. The rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. Fiveash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. Fiveash Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Fiveash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
At Jason's Deli, when you're dining in or picking up curbside, you can expect wholesome food and no surprises, just delicious sandwiches, crisp salads, and quick quality meals made with the freshest ingredients and no artificial trans fats, MSG, high fructose corn syrup, or artificial colors and dyes. Around here, a lot of thought goes into what we put into our food and what we take out of it, because you're not just taking a bite, you're getting a taste of who we are. New items are constantly being created to expand our menu for all tastes and special diets, with vegan and gluten-free options available.
I think I'll be ready to go Friday.
And on-time delivery you can count on. It's just a click away at jasonsdeli.com, so whether you need to feed 5 people or 5,000, the team at Jason's Deli, they have the credentials and the commitment to keep you satisfied. Freshness is nearby at Jason's Deli with locations at Ridgeway in the Park Place Center, Poplar and Highland, Germantown Road in Cordova, and on Goodman Road in Olive Branch. Jason's Deli. It's wholesome food and no surprises.
Hi, folks. I'm Bert Cummings for Sunrise Buick GMC Truck. Thinking about a new or used car truck and not sure where to get the most for your money? Listen to what Sunrise has to offer. Over 800 new Buicks and GMCs to choose from, with factory rebates up to $6,500 and a $15 million used car inventory, specializing in vehicles under $15,000. Bad credit, bankrupt, slow pay, it's okay. At Sunrise, we specialize in secondary financing, and Sunrise wants to get you approved. The #1 volume Buick GMC dealer in the Mid-South and the home of the guaranteed credit approval. Sunrise, Covington Pike, Wolf Chase, and 385 at Houston Levy and Collierville.
You know, one thing we never talk about is how family-friendly Central Barbecue is.
Always has been.
At any Central Barbecue location.
And there are a lot of them.
You know your kids will have a good time and a great meal.
The kids' menu is perfect.
Everything from a grilled cheese to a junior barbecue sandwich to a hot dog, junior chicken sandwich, or classic mac and cheese, and they all come with a side and a small drink, all at a great price.
You just left me with literally nothing to say about kids at Central Barbecue.
I was just trying to be thorough.
You covered everything. What am I supposed to talk about?
The parking?
You just sold the whole commercial.
Keep it twisted all year long with Twisted Tea Hard Iced Tea. Twisted Tea is real iced tea that packs a punch with 5% alcohol. Tastes great at the beach, the mountains, or even in your backyard. Look for the bright yellow Twisted Tea cans.
Twisted Tea Brewing Company, Cincinnati, Ohio. Please drink responsibly.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Big Daddy.
Hello, Big Brown. It's a guy, he wants to be big, then he gets big, he doesn't want to be big anymore, then he gets small, but the suit's too big.
Big Daddy.
The big boy.
You're a big guy. I think she's trying to pull a fast one on Big Daddy.
The big number of the day.
Well, my big number today comes from Major League Baseball, and I was kind of hinting at it in our last segment while talking about Ben Brown, the rookie pitcher for the Chicago Cubs who made his start last night. My big number today is the number 12. We talked about it earlier. He was rolling last night against Milwaukee. 7 innings of no-hit ball. He struck out 10 while doing that, and according to StatHead, Brown is the first Cubs pitcher under the age of 25 to throw at least 7 innings, strike out 10 or more batters, and give up 0 hits in an appearance. He is also just the 12th pitcher in Major League Baseball history to achieve that feat of going at least 7 innings, 10 strikeouts or more, and 0 hits under the age of 25. So a really, really positive showing last night for Ben Brown.
My big number is 12, and that number is the number of Western Conference teams that have advanced to the Western Conference Finals since the Memphis Grizzlies did it in 2013.
Holy cow.
The 3 that have not done it since 2013 are the Memphis Grizzlies, New Orleans, and Sacramento. Wow. Everybody else in the West, they've done it. Wow. That is no doubt our high-water mark as a franchise.
Absolutely, 100%.
To go to the Western Conference Finals.
Absolutely.
I didn't know in 2013 we're going to be looking up, and come next playoff season, we'll be talking about 12 years since the last time we've been, and everybody else has done it. Sure. I'm not diminishing it, but what was once such an accolade for this franchise, now everybody's been, except for you, New Orleans, and Sacramento since then.
Yeah, no, that's crazy to even think about. But I mean, it shows how good this Western Conference has been. But also, like you said, I mean, to be there and really think at that time you had something rolling, and then not to be able to get back there, and now going all of these years with your new group too now, and still haven't had that opportunity to get there. I think it's been too long, and hopefully, I don't expect them to get there next year, but, maybe you can have that hope going into next year.
And next year will be the 6th year of this management team, and that was the 6th year of that management team when they advanced to the Western Conference Finals.
Wow, interesting. So for those who want to compare those groups to each other, that'll certainly be something to look at, but
it will be. And last night, and I'm really stealing this from a really good tweet from Leodwin Seabury. He tweeted the other day that it would almost be too cruel for Mike Conley to get to Western Conference Finals and go 0-4 both times, get swept both times. Well, it was avoided last night with Mike Conley really being instrumental, a real catalyst in that game. 14 points and 7 assists for him last night, and 34 minutes played, and he just really solid player. He's not going to the Hall of Fame, but
he's a great player, and definitely an all-time great here in Memphis. And I think everybody, especially the way this series has played out, even if you weren't on the Mike Conley, let's win it and get you a ring train, that I think there were a lot of, or are a lot of people in Memphis on that train. But even last night, down 3-0, I think everybody was rooting for Mike, especially when he started to heat up and was really having a good game, like you mentioned. I think everybody here was saying, all right, Mike, this is fun to watch. It's fun to watch you find that success. So I think more people will be rooting for him tomorrow night. But like I said earlier, this one feels over.
It does, but tomorrow night would apply some pressure to Dallas when they got back to AAC.
Yeah, and I definitely think Minnesota can win tomorrow night, being at home and how they played last night. But, it's going to have to be a game where everyone shows up like we saw last night. And you even saw when it felt like a lot of guys were clicking last night for Minnesota, it was not a comfortable win at all. It wasn't a comfortable game from start to finish. And so, we've seen that. I remember, I think it was the last round where somebody put out a tweet and was like, man, what is up with the NBA with all of these blowouts and, teams just getting annihilated. And now in both the Eastern Conference Finals, even though it was a sweep, all of those games were really close. And
those
now,
were good games.
Really good games. And now in the Western Conference Finals, we're seeing the exact same thing. None of these games feel easy for either side. And so I think if you are thinking that Minnesota still has a chance, I think you got to feel good about it for that reason, that just these games have been so close. But, we'll see tomorrow night. I think Timberwolves have a really good chance. I was shocked, though. I don't know if you've seen this, Brett, but Minnesota, a 5.5-point favorite tomorrow night at home for Game 5. I was shocked that it was that big.
What I saw that really jumped out at me, I thought a very low number for the total.
I didn't see the total. What was the total set at?
209.5.
Oh, wow. That is really low. But you have seen both these defense starting to play a lot better, more specifically Dallas, who kind of had those questions coming in about defense. We know Minnesota can turn that switch on.
Brian,
anytime.
I'm so disappointed that John Harden didn't have some great shots yesterday in the golf.
You know, Brett, he had a very busy weekend. I think we've talked about it. Widespread panic was in town.
Yeah,
and so
extra day.
You know, an extra day.
Right. So you're saying that his mental his framework was not tournament ready?
I'll leave it at this, Brett. I went to Topgolf last night, and I don't think the issues I had at Topgolf last night with my golf play ability were the same problems that Johnny Radio was having yesterday when he was out at South.
How rowdy is it at Topgolf?
It's really not that bad. I mean, I've heard a lot of people ask questions about various different things of Topgolf. And, you know, I tell everybody it's almost like you're going bowling. And so, like, you know, when you go bowling, you have your own lane. Even though there might be somebody right next to you, you don't feel like they're in your way or in your area. It just feels like it's you hanging out with your friends. That's what it feels like 100% at Topgolf.
Well, now, at bowling, though, it can get pretty rowdy with a lot of copious amounts of pitchers of beer.
It can, and I can tell you, it can get a little rowdy at Topgolf. But
have fun.
Again, you know, I have not experienced Topgolf to its fullest effect. I go on Tuesday nights, and as we know, Brett, Tuesday nights is just the epitome of party night. I don't think everyone comes out on Tuesday nights for Topgolf bowling.
Is bowling an Olympic sport?
I don't think so. No, I don't.
I had that up early. I don't know if I saw it or not.
So. No, I told you I went through them all and tried to see, which ones to get excited for.
I can't wait till we go through them.
Well, and I told Melinda when we were going through them, I said, I don't care what it is. It might be a sport I've never heard of or never watched before. If USA is out there competing, I'm going to be watching and I'm going to be rooting on the USA to try to get more gold medals. So I'm so excited. I know everybody's excitement will only rise as we get closer to August and to those Olympic Games. Let's go ahead and wrap up our second hour and get to a break. When we come back, we're talking more NBA with Rob Fisher.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Summer starts now with Memorial Day appliance savings at Lowe's. Get up to 40% off. Plus, save an extra $50 on every $500 you spend on select major appliances from brands like KitchenAid. And right now, you can double your savings when you spend $2,500 or more. Shop in-store or online today because Lowe's knows home improvement. Offer valid through 6/5. Savings vary based on purchase amount. Exclusions apply. See Lowe's.com for more details.
Everyone has dreams, and if you've been dreaming of new appliances, Appliance Liquidators can make your dreams come true at any budget. Appliance Liquidators in South Haven is family-owned with low prices on appliances along with top-notch customer service. Choose from authorized brands including Crosley, GE, Maytag, LG, Whirlpool, and more. Appliance Liquidators specializes in clearance and scratch and dent. You get quality with minor imperfections at affordable prices. Stop dreaming and start living with new appliances from Appliance Liquidators, 3320 Goodman Road East in South Haven.
Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
It's silly season in the life of your roof. I'm Brian Elder, 867-0303. The weather can be unpredictable, and I'm ready to get more life out of your roof with our award-winning Owens Corning Repair Team. We're the repair guys the other repair guys call when they can't find the problem. Leaks become black mold when ignored. That's why when you call me, I start my inspection in the attic. Is it time for a beautiful new roof? 867-0303. I'll measure your roof from outer space and get you an estimate right over the phone. The best warranty in the business, including a warranty against ice dams. The only roofer in Memphis to offer a warranty against water intrusion due to snow buildup. Ask about military and first responder discounts. 901-867-0303 or BrianElderRoofing.com.
Call 867-0303. Brian Elder's Roofing Solutions.
Includes all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695. $650 acquisition fee. EV6 P5610964. MSRP $50,200. Telluride RG 510-849. MSRP $38,305. Forte LXS RE 780-169. MSRP $21,820. Must finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealers only.
I got Jeff Allen on the line to hear about some crazy deals happening at Gossett Kia South Mount Moriah.
Randy, I'd love to give all our customers our best deal. 2024 Kia Forte LXS gets 41 MPG highway, $199 a month, $34.99 do it signing. 282 miles EPA estimated range will get you where you want to go in the 2023 Kia EV6 Win, $249 a month, plus a 2024 Telluride LX, $357 a month. Both $39.99 do it signing and 24-month lease.
And 0% for 48 months on 2024 EV9 and peace of mind with a 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty.
So whether you live in Horn Lake, South Haven, Olive Branch, or Memphis, we'll make you happy at Gossett Kia South on Mount Moriah.
Do you know one of the best things you can do for your employees or family's health? Provide Arctic Clear bottled water. Arctic Clear bottled water is your locally owned and operated bottled water provider. Arctic Clear is 100% natural spring water with free delivery and setup, dependable service, and no long-term contracts. What an easy choice. Call Jeff Manus today, 901-382-2363, or visit arctic-clear.com. Arctic Clear bottled water. Call now, 382-2363. That's 382-2363.
Sports 56 traffic.
Good afternoon, T-Dot's out here assisting a couple of disabled vehicles up and down 240, especially over here around Perkins just a few minutes ago. 240 East remains heavy, no surprise, here up by Poplar as that traffic increases on Sam Cooper, especially outbound over here at Perkins Highland as you get back on the interstate there from Sam Cooper, as that builds also on 40 going eastbound from Sycamore View Road on into Fayette County. Hey, Weimer's Jewelry, 7525 Highway 64. They want you to know they are your full-service, family-owned jewelry store here in Memphis. I'm Commander Chuck with your on-time traffic.
We are Sports 56, WHBQ Memphis, and W253DF Memphis, Flynn Broadcasting Stations.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Welcome back into Sports Time. Bryant Brett with you in our Family Leisure Studios, and joining us now on our Sissy's Log Cabin guest line, Rob Fisher joins us now to talk the NBA from Grind City Media and the Grizzlies television broadcast. Rob, I know we've got plenty of basketball to talk about, but I got to start off with those Cardinals. Don't look now, but back up to 500.
Ever since Ali lost his mind.
That's right.
In Milwaukee. Cardinals, I think they're 11-2.
How about that?
Since then, yeah, it's amazing. I mean, it was only a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the team, and you'd say, well, they're struggling offensively, they're struggling defensively, they're struggling fundamentally, and all those things are going well right now. And the pitching continues to do what it's been doing. So it's been quite a ride, and a great win today with Palante getting the start and being able to do that. So. Yeah, go Cardinals, go. How about that? I counted them out 2 weeks ago, so I guess I got to take that back.
You. We had everybody traded 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, Sonny Gray.
That's right.
We had Hensley, Heisley, Helmsley traded.
I keep everybody.
No doubt, because he's your best player. I mean,
he could break you something.
And everybody's playing well, and, I mean, heck, you're right there in the wild card race, so you know, it's only May, and I don't know. I don't know if I expect it to continue, but it's a heck of a ride right now.
In the all-important loss column, which right now, that's almost new math with the all-important loss column and the win column that matters very much, the Cardinals would be the second National League wild card in the all-important loss column.
Wow.
Which is amazing to say that it only takes 500 to get in the playoffs.
Wow.
May 29th.
But, you know, I mean, they've had this great of a streak to get back to 500. It'd be nice to not look back again, but you got a tough series coming up in Philadelphia.
Sure do. Aren't we slightly embarrassed that we're this giddy over being 27 up and 27 down?
Yeah, we should be, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, we should be. So last night, take me through your emotions watching Mike Conley. Leodwin Seabury, I just referenced, he tweeted the other day that it would just be too cruel for a great guy like that to get swept in two Western Conference finals. He avoided that last night.
Well, I like that he told his team, hey, I'm going to be selfish. Do it for me.
Yeah.
He said, I'm getting old, so do it for me. And I don't know if they did it for him, but they certainly played really well. I heard you guys talking about it before I came on, and, you know, it's just been so hard for Minnesota. Even in the win, it was such a difficult win. You got to give Dallas credit in the way that they're playing, and especially the way that they're playing defensively, and Luke is playing defensively. Yeah. It's been quite impressive for the Mavericks. But, you know, Minnesota, when they play really well and everybody contributes, they can have a game like last night. And, you know, now you go back home, and can you do it again? And can you duplicate it? And can you have that defense that you had in the Denver series? Can you duplicate that? And can Naz Reid have a big game? And Mike Conley do what Mike Conley does? And Anthony Edwards have a big game? I mean, you need all these guys because Dallas is clicking on all cylinders, and Minnesota's going to have to if they want to try and keep this series alive.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, backs against the wall right now. Their backs against the wall last night. They get the win on the road. You got to feel good going back home, at least, that you can have that home court advantage. Do you think this one's over in the next game for Dallas, or do you think Minnesota can keep extending this like you were just saying? And if so, how uncomfortable can they make it for Dallas?
Well, I think Minnesota can extend it and keep it going. You know, having the game at home is going to help. The crowd's going to be rowdy, and you know, and we've seen how good they can be. And I certainly think they can extend it to Game 6. And then Game 6, yeah, it makes it a little uncomfortable. Now all of a sudden you put the pressure on Dallas, and you know, no one's come back from 3-0 ever before. But you know, Dallas, it's not like they're new to the situation. I mean, they got some veterans on that team that I don't think they'll be rattled. I mean, it's an amazing statistic. This was the first time that Kyrie Irving's lost a closeout game.
Yeah.
He's 15-1 in his career in closeout games, which is incredible. So, you know, I don't think losing a game will rattle them that much, but it'll certainly put the pressure on them to get it done back in Dallas in Game 6.
Rob, one time, a long, long time ago, in a land far, far away, weren't we hoping and didn't we see a glimpse of what Kyrie Irving is and became? Weren't we thinking O.J. Mayo could be that?
Yeah, I mean, O.J. Mayo, you know, he was the next coming.
Sure what? Had 44 one night as a rook.
How about that?
From high school and then in college and then as, you know, his first year in the NBA, I mean, I don't think there's a person who thought the Kevin Love trade was a bad one to get O.J. Mayo because of what his ceiling could be.
Right. And, you know, everybody's kind of, even the ones like me that were saying you can't teach 7-3, everybody ran from that. I don't think people should run from the Kevin Love for Kyrie, because I think you're right that certainly at the time everybody was for it, and now I don't think you should. Well, I know how things worked out, but I don't think you should run from it.
No, I mean, I think when you made the deal, it was the potential to have a superstar. You know, the first superstar that the organization would ever have, and it just didn't work out that way, unfortunately. But you know, and it took us years later to capture that superstar in Ja Morant. But you know, OJ was supposed to be that guy. He was on path to be that guy, and was expected to be that guy. So, yeah, I don't think anybody was disappointed with that trade, and maybe you look back and you say, wow, Kevin Love had a really good career, really long, good career that's still going on. And then we know what happened with OJ. So, you know, looking back on it, yeah, it wasn't the greatest move, but I think at the time nobody would have disagreed with making it.
The apology tour right now for Kyrie Irving, I don't feel like I have anything to apologize for. About the meanest thing I said is concentrate on basketball. You can't right every wrong in the world. Do you think people owe him an apology?
To Kyrie?
Uh-huh.
No, because he's a weird dude. He's a great basketball player, but I think all the things that we've been critical of Kyrie Irving has been just him being a weird guy. Yeah. And at times hard to play with. I mean, how many times, you know, since Cleveland have we gone somewhere and expected big things from him, and it just hasn't happened. And then you hear discord between players and the whole experiment in Brooklyn, which was an absolute disaster.
Steve Nash has nightmares about it.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And, you know, it took till this point, you know, and give Kyrie credit. I mean, Luka's the player. Luka's the guy on that team. He's the alpha. He's the one. You can say they're both 1 and 1A, but they're not. Luka's the guy. And I think Kyrie is taking a slight back seat. And he's killing it right now. I mean, he's got amazing skills. He's a great basketball player, and I don't think anyone's ever criticized him for his ability on the floor. I think it's been just he's weird. he's a weird kid.
With you there. Derek Lively's been really good for Dallas throughout these playoffs. Missed last night's game, but it looks like he's listed as questionable for tomorrow night's game. It sounds like he's going to be a game-time decision to play tomorrow night. How much of an impact have you seen him make for this Dallas team, and how much would that help him, help the Mavericks if he was to play tomorrow night, even if he might not be 100%? Or do you kind of play that game, we're up 3-1, we need to just sit you out if you're not 100%?
No, I don't think he can play that game. If he's able to go, he's got to go.
Yeah.
And he's been really good. I mean, that's been the key with Dallas this postseason, has been the others and how good they've played. P.J. Washington, Daniel Gafford, Lively. I mean, those guys have played so well. Derek Jones, and how well they've all played. They need their full collection of guys to make it. And, you know, not saying that if he plays, they'll win, and if he doesn't, they'll lose. But I think he certainly helps with what Dallas has done. And, you know, it just adds a big for Dallas as well, which they need in this series. So they've all played really well, and so I think you definitely need them in the lineup. I don't think you put kid gloves on this one. I think you basically, if he's ready to go, he's got to play because you need him.
You mentioned Alpha in Dallas, and I think consensus among everybody, it's Luka. Who's Alpha in Boston?
Oh, I think it's Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown's really good. But I think it's Jason Tatum, and I'd say Brown's that second guy. I think when you rank the top 5 guys in the final 4 teams, you probably had Luka and Kyrie, Edwards, Tatum, and then Brown. So I think they're close, but I think it's Jason Tatum. I think the team will go as Tatum carries them. But Brown is certainly essential. I mean, he's huge as well. It'll be interesting to see what happens in this next series because they've played the live or die with the 3.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if they'll be able to do that against either Minnesota or Dallas, likely Dallas, but I don't think they'll be able to do that. So will they be able to go to the basket, and will they able to, will Porzingis come back? That would be huge because of the size problems that Boston could have in this next matchup. But I think they go the way that Jason Tatum goes. I think he's their alpha.
What do you think about Joe Mazzulla as a head coach? A guy that has taken over in Boston, has faced a lot of criticism to start his career, and, quite frankly, had a team kind of made for him when he got that job in Boston. What do you see when you watch him coach, and what do you think of him as the head guy for Boston?
Well, I think it's hard to say he hasn't done a great job. I mean, got to the conference finals last year, and here they are in the NBA finals next year, and I think it's tough. I think there are things that you watch Boston and you wonder, are they a great team? And do they just shoot the 3 too much?
Right.
Question it, but here they are in the finals. So and Joe Mazzulla is going to be a guy. If they don't win the NBA finals, he'll still be questioned on how good of a coach he is.
Mm-hmm.
But that's the situation he was put in. He was put in with a really good team that should compete for NBA finals and championships going forward. They fell short last year. What's going to happen this year? So he'll probably be questioned if they don't win the NBA finals. But I mean, how do you? I'd like to say, how do you get upset with a guy who has accomplished as much as he has, but just look around the NBA? Sometimes it's not good enough for people. And coaches lose their jobs. It seems kind of absurd, but I don't think he's in any danger of losing his job.
Right.
But he'll certainly get criticism if they don't win the NBA Finals.
Rob, I said yesterday, I think some of the criticism is his youth, and he looks so very young. He can't help that. He's going to love having that problem as the years go on. But also the post-COVID relaxed coaching look on the sideline. I think he would look better if he put on a coat and tie and would look older.
Well, I think some guys maybe he would look a little more distinguished. But it's gotten really relaxed over there, and it makes it. Yeah, you can say things like, all of a sudden it's like, well, it looks like it's very relaxed, and it looks like they're in a country club atmosphere. Well, it might look like that, but that's not necessarily the case.
No,
and I think you can probably say that about a lot of coaches.
But boy, it's a lot of warm-ups on the sidelines now.
Oh, a lot of quarter zips.
Yeah,
of course, they're in.
Peyton Manning's takeover.
That's right. There you go. When we're talking about the Eastern Conference Finals, everybody wants to talk about Boston for good reason. But even in that sweep, the Pacers were extremely competitive, and I think 2 of those games, I brought this number the other day, had over a 90% chance to win the game inside the last 2 minutes. Ultimately, lost both those games. A 6 seed getting to the Eastern Conference Finals. Is that a team next year that we're talking about before the season starts, making that jump from maybe kind of lower 5, 6, 7 to maybe in that 1 through 4 category in the East?
I don't know. I mean, I think their biggest problem in that series with Boston was just not valuing possessions, which is something that's a must come playoff time. And just many bad possessions at the most inopportune times. And bad turnovers, bad possessions, just bad. And so, I don't know. I think they're about where they're going to be, and unless they get help. I mean, they didn't have a guy. You know, you expected it to be Halliburton, maybe Siakam, but when they really needed to do something, when they really needed a score on a possession, they didn't really have that guy to go to. And I think they need another, or, you know, it's got to be Halliburton. I mean, for how much we praised Halliburton throughout the season and wanted to put him in the list of superstars and ranked him ahead of John Morant, man.
Yeah, slow down.
I didn't see it this postseason. I just didn't. He's really good. He's really good and had some really good games. But I just thought his play was very, I don't know, a lot of irresponsible play from Tyrese Halliburton, and that surprised me this postseason. But I don't know. I think they're about where they're at. Could they move up a spot? I think the East is going to be jumbled. Just depends on who's going to make moves. You know, you expect Philadelphia is going to jump back up, so they'll probably jump ahead of Indiana. So I don't know. I think Indiana's about where they're at if nothing happens this offseason.
Rob, we know how much you love the draft and can break it all down, especially that European player that very few only know from YouTube clips. Have workouts started? Do you ever go to the building this time of year and just walk by and know a workout's going on?
Well, I know they've had some workouts, but I don't know anything about them. They keep them hush hush. So I mean, they could have had one today. I have no idea. But because they used to be public, they used to put the list out. People
sure
could
did.
watch the end, but they don't do that anymore. It's completely quiet, and I think part of that is having, you know, a top 10 pick in the draft. So,
sure.
So no, I don't really know. I mean, I assume they are. They would definitely do their due diligence. And I know a couple of players or agents have tweeted out that they had workouts with the Grizzlies, but nothing that I'm aware of.
Were you at the famous Draymond Green workout that now I'm convinced there were about 180,000 people at that?
I'm one that, I'll be honest, no, I wasn't.
I was not either.
I wasn't there, but yeah.
But it's in Grizzlies lore, isn't it?
Yeah, no kidding. No kidding.
that and who had the short arms from Mississippi State? Golly.
Lawrence Roberts?
No, not Lawrence Roberts, left-hander, years later.
Rodney Hood.
Rodney Hood and his short arms.
Yeah, does have short arms.
Yeah, his short arms, which Dave Yeager still doesn't forgive the Grizzlies for not drafting him.
Well, he might have a good point. Do you have any...
I don't know. It's not like Rodney Hood turned out to be sorry.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I don't think Springfield's got a room reserved for him.
No.
Rob, do you have any burning hot takes on Bronny James?
I don't know what to think.
I honestly don't either.
I mean, from what you heard, he's not a guy that could be drafted. I mean, he's a guy that could possibly not be drafted.
Mm-hmm.
But then you hear teams are interested. I don't know. Could be smoke screens. I don't know what the deal is.
How about the betting odds, Rob? I told Bryant the other day there must be people that just do not like money that are betting on him to go number one overall.
Wow.
I'm going number one overall before Bryant.
Well, if I could bet NBA, I would say I'll book that action.
Well,
but you can't. And don't get near it.
No.
But I can. Yeah, but I can.
But you do give us good halftime tips.
That's right. Sure do.
Well, that's a sponsor. So that for some reason I can do. Yeah, absolutely.
Well, of course.
Get my three-leg parlays that I give out before each and every game.
Rob, we started with a little baseball hit from you, and we've talked a lot of NBA. I got to get this into you. I've got Paul Feinbaum's show on and watching the SEC meetings, and you'll be at SEC media days, and you'll be part of our roundtable with Richard Cross and Bryant Dacus and myself when we wrap it all up that Thursday afternoon in Dallas. But earlier I told Bryant, and try to think of me at my most snootiest SEC arrogance, okay? So I see Brent Venables on TV with Oklahoma, and out loud I said, "Well, Brent, you finally made it to the SEC."
Yeah, welcome to the club.
Yeah, you finally arrived.
We'll be looking at those Oklahoma, Texas people like, oh, you finally made it. Yeah, welcome. Yeah, we'll be snobs, no doubt. It'll be a snobby welcome.
Of course, I will tell them whether it's the food line or any other line. Line forms at the end for OU in Texas.
I can see that happen. I don't think we'd be the only ones being snobby.
No. Shouldn't we be welcoming? Shouldn't we be nice about this?
We should,
but we're not going to be.
But we're not going to be, no.
That's right.
I'll be honest, I can't watch Paul Feinbaum this week. Every time I turn it on, I just wish I was at the beach. I mean, it's beautiful behind me.
Let me tell you what it is. I just want the sunglass concession of all his guests this week.
Oh, yeah. Oh, they're great. They've got them. They got the money to buy a good set of sunglasses, I guess.
Yeah, they might have a sunglass tent right there next to them.
Of course, sponsored. You know that.
Of course. Man. Of course. Rob, last thing for you. Our Oilers are in trouble, aren't they?
No, because they'll get them back tonight, and that'll be even at 2 games apiece. My Rangers fell in overtime for the first time.
Oh, but they're looking good.
But they look really good. That series even at 2 games apiece. So, after tonight, after the Oilers win tonight, we got a heck of a Final Four here, conference finals. And with basketball going to take about a week off, you can really catch the NHL action. Right. And Rangers look like the best team. Oilers are the most exciting team. And, I'm looking forward to watching the game tonight for sure.
Did you go to any of the Blues games when they won it in 2019, Rob?
I did not. I was actually in St. Louis for Game 6, I think, or one of the games. I was in St. Louis, and tickets were like $800.
Oh, no.
Wow.
Yeah, give me 10 of them.
That's right.
Yeah. So I went to a bar and watched and spent about $80.
It had the same experience.
That's right. Well, Rob,
it was cool.
Yeah, it was a good time.
Brian, if I could, I want to mention this before I let you guys go today. It's the end of it's the end of Mental Health Awareness Month.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
In the month of May, and I just want to tell folks who are dealing with mental health issues like I do that please seek help. Make a phone call. No one can force you to do it. You have to do it yourself, and be brave about it. Just make one phone call because it could save your life, and get help. You can get medicated. It can make a huge difference. I'm one that can attest to that. And if you want to see my story, make you feel like you're not alone, you can read my story. It's on Twitter @TheFishNation. I reposted it today. And also I posted on Facebook another story, a television story that was done in St. Louis about it, that you can check that out as well on Facebook. And just, make that phone call, and it can help. And just my message to everyone who struggles with mental health is just, you're not alone. And while you might feel alone most of the time, you're not. There are a lot of us that struggle with it as well. And just reaching out and talking about it and talking to someone about it can make the biggest difference in the world. So please do that if you're struggling with mental health. And, stay strong, everybody who is struggling with mental health. So I just wanted to share that with you guys today before we let you go.
And Rob, so well said, and keep fighting the good fight. Mm-hmm. And sometimes that fight is, I need somebody to fight with me.
Yeah.
Yes. And don't be afraid to ask.
That's right.
Absolutely.
Good stuff, Rob.
You can't do it alone, because you do it alone, it just continues to fester and continues to ball you up in a corner all by yourself. So, get help and share your story with others, because there are a lot of others who have the same story as you.
Absolutely. Well, Rob, thanks so much for joining us, and we'll talk to you again next week.
All right, fellas. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Rob. Rob Fisher, definitely go check out his Twitter, The Fish Nation, and his story. Definitely a great message to leave on with this being the end of the month. But let's go ahead and get to a break, and when we come back, we'll talk about what's trending.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
This is hard to believe, but the Hyundai Santa Fe is actually better? I know, that's crazy, isn't it? The 2024 Santa Fe is new, top to bottom, and even better than before. It's almost as big as the Palisade, so roomy, and now it's got a standard third row. Everybody's clamoring for that. And it's the best SUV when it comes to the ride than ever before. You know how with SUVs you love it because you're sitting high, but you don't get that luxury kind of ride like a sedan? You do with the 2024 Santa Fe. It's the best riding SUV ever, and it's quiet. It's the ultimate family car. All you've got to do to be sold is to test drive it. The people at Homer Skelton Hyundai are saying, come try it. You'll love it. Homer Skelton Hyundai, right at the corner of Highway 78 and Craft Road. First exit in Mississippi. Go see the ultimate SUV, the 2024 Santa Fe.
Tuning into this station was the first best thing you have done today. This is Sheldon Rosengarten, and I'm with you, Mallory, and we are both with Mark's Benstorff Realtors. You, what's the next thing we can advise people to do if they are selling their home?
The next best thing? Remember, Sheldon, the real estate market is changing, and you need honest, forthright help navigating the new environment. Doing it on your own is like driving a car in a blinding snowstorm.
Correct, you. The upcoming changes will mean a lot for both buyers and sellers, and that's why we always advise people to talk to 2 to 3 real estate brokers and make sure that we are one of them.
Sheldon, 2 to 3 real estate brokers? Really? Like 2 to 3 tee shots you always take?
Yes, you. It's important to have a choice, whether in real estate or in golf. Now, back into the fairway, and to find out how you will move you, call him at 497-9756, or find out why they often say when you want the job done, call Shell Dunn at 483-0546 or memphisrelocate.com. That's 483-0546.
Life insurance. Why are you putting it off? Can't afford it? Too much hassle? Think you don't need it? There's lots of excuses for putting off life insurance. But if you weren't there, who would pay the mortgage and other bills? With Ethos, you could be covered in 10 minutes and boom, family protected. Ethos, fast and easy online term life insurance. Up to $2 million in coverage with no medical exam. Some policies as low as $1 a day. Answer a few health questions and get your free quote at getethos.com. That's getethos.com.
As the seasons change, so does the need for reliable home comfort. It's time to turn to the experts with Choates, where your family's comfort is our top priority. Right now, Choates is making it easier than ever to upgrade your home's climate control with our exceptional Carrier systems. There's never been a better time to enhance your comfort. Select from incredibly low monthly payments, 36 months no interest financing, or choose our $1,650 Cool Cash rebate instead and lower the upfront cost on select Carrier systems. It's not just savings, it's cool cash in your pocket. Low monthly payments, no interest financing, or cool cash rebates? Whatever you choose, you're choosing quality, reliability, and the trusted service of Choates. Call us today at 347-8086 or visit ChoatesHVAC.com to learn more about these incredible savings. But hurry, these deals are as fleeting as a cool breeze on a hot day. Choates, let our family serve your family.
It's time to get to Gossett Kia on the Pike so Bobby J can put you in your new Kia today. Want summer fun and 41 MPG? We Gossett with 2024 Kia Forte LXS. $199 a month, $34.99 due at signing. How about 282 miles of EPA estimated range with new 2023 Kia EV6 Win? $249 a month. Get extra room and extra fun with 2024 Kia Telluride LX. $357 a month, both $39.99 due at signing. All 24-month lease plus 0% APR for 48 months. Available on the all-new Kia EV9. And peace of mind with Kia's 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain limited warranty. So hurry to Gossett Kia, 1900 Covington Pike. Online, KiaCovingtonPike.com.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
Include all rebates and incentives. Price excludes $695 PF. Lease includes PF $695, $650 acquisition fee, EV6, P5610964, MSRP $50,200, Telluride RG $510,849, MSRP $38,305, Forte LXS RE78169, MSRP $21,820. Plus finance through Hyundai. Excludes tax title and license. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 5/31/2024 with approved credit. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports. Former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons Sports, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show, right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56, 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
Well, I'll be honest, earlier today when I was getting ready for today's show, thinking about what we were going to talk about, especially during what's trending, I figured, oh yeah, we'll go through all the guys that have decided to opt back into college, and David Jones would either be on that list or we'd be still waiting for a decision ahead of that 10:59 deadline here locally in the Central Time Zone. But unfortunately, as we know, with the announcement right when we started the show, really, that David Jones will stay in the NBA draft. He will not come back to college. So I want to talk about that for a minute, but I do want to, before we get to that, talk about some of the other guys that have decided to return to college, because there are some really good names coming back to college.
A big one for Arkansas.
A big one for Arkansas. John L. Davis, who obviously we are very familiar with here in Memphis from the last 2 years. He has taken his name out of the draft. He was one of the early ones today to take his name out. He'll be going to Arkansas. Another SEC team, Mark Sears, will return to Alabama, a massive get for them as well. Some other names that are also opting out. I'm trying to find the list I saw earlier. Oh, Baba Miller, who some people will remember. I think Memphis was involved recruiting him from Spain. Maybe not. It might have been Gonzaga, I remember him almost committing to. Ended up going to Florida State. Spent the first 2 years at Florida State. He gave the draft a try, decided he's coming back, but he was in the transfer portal and is committed to FAU today. So he will be at Florida Atlantic this year, a conference team for the Tigers, so somebody to keep an eye on. Caleb Love is coming back to college. He'll be at Arizona next year. We already knew about R.J. Davis coming back. So I'll be honest, Brett, and I was looking at this earlier. The last time we had a Naismith Men's College Player of the Year at a guard position was 2018 when Jalen Brunson won it. We were in a good we had a little streak there with guards. Buddy Hield, Frank Mason, Jalen Brunson all won it. But after that, Zion, Obi Toppin, Luka Garza, Oscar Tshiebwe, and then back-to-back years for Zach Edey. With the guards that are opting back into college this year, I think we get back to a guard winning it, and it really could be Mark Sears at Alabama.
It could be on a team that the unthinkable back-to-back Final Fours.
Yeah.
For Alabama basketballs. They got to the first one last year, and they're going to be up there lofty in all the preseason picks. Who is the primary beneficiary, do you think, for playing time for the Memphis Tigers with David Jones not returning?
Jeez, that is a great question, because I think, honestly, playing time is definitely a different question than just guys getting shots in production, right? I think probably like Colby Rogers. I think that was a guy that a lot of people were saying that if David comes back, he goes to the bench and comes off as a sixth man. It's probably Colby right now, but obviously that can change very quickly, depending on what this staff does with those scholarships remaining. But, I think there's probably a couple of guys you could look to, but I would say my go-to would probably be Colby Rogers.
And David Jones, I wanted him to return, and it was not entirely selfish. I just didn't think he was ready.
Right. And I think a lot of people would say the same. You look at any mock draft out there, and nobody had David Jones on their mock draft. And so I think, it's interesting. I'm guessing somebody guaranteed him a two-way, whether it be taking him in the second round or as an undrafted player. Mm-hmm. I think that would be the only thing that would
that's his business.
Sure,
that may be his basketball existence.
Absolutely.
That he's ready to
Absolutely.
try but last year, I thought a lot of times, and I said this in the middle of it, so I'm not changing now.
Yeah.
at times he could go Brett Favre on you. He kept both teams in it.
Sure.
He could hurt you as much as he helped.
Well, and that was kind of the thing with him is, he was such a great player, such a dynamic player scoring the ball that there'd be a lot of times where he would try to take over a game and kind of be the guy. And, it led to a lot. And again, like you said, we're not making this stuff up. This was stuff we talked about. I know on this show, I know I talked about it with Johnny Radio on his show. But
we got sandblasted for it.
Sure, but there were games where you would look up after the game and, there'd be 5-6 turnovers that were
dribbled
from
off his
David
left foot.
Jones. Yeah, and so that handle was a little loose, and I thought that was going to be the thing because even in those combine scrimmages, the consensus out of those scrimmages was David Jones has a very loose handle, and that's going to be something that I think keeps him from being drafted is, you're worried about putting the ball in his hands and making him a playmaker, but clearly, between combine, meetings with teams, workouts, he's gotten some information that he definitely feels good about. And Brett, I brought it up a couple weeks ago, and we've talked about it. There's some guys that just playing college basketball, the college life with basketball is not for them. And this is a guy that this is now his third school in Memphis. Maybe he was just ready to try something new, whether that be NBA or professionally overseas. Like you said, that's his business, and I hope he has success playing basketball in the future.
Coach Penny Hardaway, unless it's yet another head fake from him to the media, he said a few weeks ago 70-30 on the return.
Sure.
So if you thought 70 that he's returning, you got to be surprised by this.
Definitely, and I do think this came as a surprise. Talking again, I don't have a ton of big time sources with Memphis basketball, but talking to other people that are in the know and kind of getting some other things, it felt like a lot of people thought that he was coming back to Memphis, and so I do think this was a surprise to a lot of people. And so now Penny Hardaway and his staff will have to pivot, and now down an assistant that we were talking about yesterday with Andy Borman no longer with the program. So you now have this new wave of guys. I think it was Zach Boyd. I was talking to him earlier, and he said earlier this week. And off air, and he said, I view the transfer portal as like a couple different waves and almost a couple different cycles. You have the first wave, first cycle where really everybody gets into the portal, and then you kind of have that middle of the road where, people are kind of deciding, do I want to enter the transfer portal or do I want to go back? And that's almost kind of a second wave of guys that flood into the transfer portal, and then you've got the guys that withdraw from the NBA draft, and that's kind of the third final push.
That's a good breakdown.
Where guys come in, and so we're finally to that third push, and so there are going to be guys out there. I've listed off a couple of them that are going back to school.
You could even say we have a fourth push that Javon Quinterly time period, late July, early August.
Sure, absolutely. And so there are guys out there, and there are certainly guys that maybe have not made their decision or have made their decision that are going to be portal guys that Penny Hardaway will go out there and try to get. There's still guys in the portal that haven't found a home, so there are plenty of guys out there. But now Penny Hardaway, I believe, 4 scholarships to work with now, with David Jones not returning. So certainly can find ways to fill out this roster.
Right now, though, I just don't see how anybody other than through Tiger blue shade glasses, and that's fine. I don't know how anybody could be more optimistic for opening night this year than they were last year.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely tough, and I think you got to wait and see what that finished roster looks like. But I will say, I mean, you look around on social media and it seems like the consensus of people who tweet, I know our buddy Kevin Sweeney, who is a national college basketball analyst, he tweeted out about the David Jones and said, this is a gut punch for the Tigers. This is tough. I don't want to put words because I saw a lot of different people saying the similar things.
I think 2 horrible back-to-back days.
Yeah, I mean it's
more the continuing staff of people, and now one 70-30 and.
Yeah, I mean it's definitely been 2 eventful days for Memphis basketball, and we'll see where it goes from here. And
I'll say it. Sometimes it appears Penny does not have a great handle on this program.
Yeah, and you've mentioned it. I mean, we're getting this year will be year 7, and
That's Josh Pastner territory.
Yeah, and so I think a lot of people are looking for those results.
That's not a great corollary in Tiger basketball history.
No. And I think people are looking for results after what happened last year once you got to conference. And Brad, I mean, I remember I forgot who you talked about earlier that they have nightmares. I have nightmares about that first round conference tournament game.
Yeah.
Steve Nash, that's right. I have nightmares about that Wichita State game. I mean, that was just an ugly performance.
The nightmare for me from last year is the second half against South Florida.
Oh, man. I mean, that's another good one. I mean,
what am I watching?
Yeah. And so,
and that was a night. Now, that was not anybody's fault. That was not people for their own safety. Were advised, do not show. So it was as sterile and as antiseptic as a gym as you can get, but you still are at home on your rims, and you lose that. As I said, in the end, South Florida was not any good.
Yes. So, I mean,
and they weren't.
Right. And so, it was just a weird year this year when it came to conference play. And so this year's going to be a big year, and now you look up, and I think you felt good with David Jones coming back and Nicholas Jourdain coming back, as those two being the veteran guys. They've been here. They know what Penny Hardaway expects, and they can be those leaders that sets the tone for these new guys. Now you look around, and it's a very lonely locker room for Nicholas Jourdain as literally the lone returner, not including walk-ons. I don't know what's going to happen with those
P.J.
two
Haggerty
walk-ons.
better be good.
He better be, and it's going to be a lot of new and a lot of guys getting used to each other early. And I'm glad now that they're all getting here on beginning of June to be able to have that extra time to really get to know each other and figure out what
they need every second of it.
They absolutely do, because it is not easy going from
and no trip
to a brand
this
new
year,
team.
because they did that last year.
That's right.
And I'm hearing that a lot of those trips are really being tamped down across the athletics department because all the money's got to go into one thing.
Oh, for sure. And so, we'll see. It's always kind of a fun game to play of what team's going where and trying to get that. And a lot of teams try to use it for their advantage if they have, foreign players on their roster to try to get them some NIL money. But it's going to be interesting to see what Penny Hardaway and this staff does trying to finish out this roster. But let's go ahead and get to our final break of the day. When we come back, we'll wrap up today's show with Taco Bell Crunch Time.
Be sure to follow us at Sports56 WHBQ on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube to watch live video of our shows, stay up to date with station events, and have chances to win prizes. Don't miss out on anything that's going on. Follow us at Sports56 WHBQ.
I'm Gary York. I'm the service director at Lexus of Memphis. Our service department wants to be more than just oil change. We do glass repair, windshield replacement, recalibration of your camera and sonar systems, even wheel repair, tire replacement, all the things you would expect from a luxury automotive dealer. Please check out our website. You can schedule your appointment, check out our specials, hours of operation, or if you'd like to do it in person, please reach out to one of our associates at 901-271-5199.
Welcome to the Rendezvous.
This is John Vergas. When my dad started the Rendezvous in 1948, I don't think anyone could have imagined we'd still be serving shoulder, cheese plates, and our world-famous dry rub ribs 75 years later. But we are still here in the basement, in an alley in downtown Memphis. We sincerely thank you for making the Rendezvous what it is today. Charlie Vergas Rendezvous. A legendary experience for over 75 years, whether you dine in, pick up, or ship across the country.
When it's time for a brake job, go with a solution that delivers one of the smoothest and most quiet rides on the road. Napa Silent Guard brakes. Made with fiber-reinforced shims that eliminate noise for the life of the pad. Rubber-coated hardware for a better fit on 99.5% of vehicles. And quality design that meets and exceeds OE performance. Napa Silent Guard brakes deliver the stopping power and performance drivers demand in their vehicles. Available now at Napa locations nationwide.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roofing. In these uncertain economic times, there are so many things as a contractor and a business owner that I cannot control. the rising cost of materials, not to mention fuel and transportation costs. In the last 2 years, shingle prices have almost doubled, and commercial materials have doubled. And I don't have to tell you what fuel costs these days. But you know what I can control? How much markup I put on a project. I have always prided myself in knowing I never gouge a customer. But in an effort to ensure my crews have work and my customers are being treated fairly, I have lowered my profit margin, hoping to give you a price you can live with and keeping my crews busy. So if you need a roof or gutters, please give us a call. 5 Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 5 Roofing, a proud sponsor of Tiger Athletics and a member of the Tigers home team. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
5 Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
I've got Rock and Ronnie Smith on the line at Gossett Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram Fiat on the Pike. And Ronnie, it's the season for the Memorial Day sales event.
It's time to rock, Randy, in your new 2023 Jeep Renegade Latitude 4-wheel drive. $25,889 or $389 a month. That's $5,206 off MSRP. How about a 2024 Dodge Hornet GT all-wheel drive, packing up to 268 horsepower, plus 295 pound-feet of torque, $32,320, plus power up in our 2023 Dodge Charger SXT 4-door, $28,072. That's over $9,000 off MSRP.
So drive past the rest and come to the best at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike, or online anytime, GossettMotorcars.net. All 75 months at 8.99 APR, 3,500 down, Renegade Triple P 56,520, MSRP 31,095, Charger PH 636,171, MSRP 37,120, Hornet R3A 152,64, MSRP 34,820. Price includes all rebates and incentives and excludes PF 695. Payments includes PF 695. All exclude tax, title, and license with approved credit. CD for complete details. Dealer stock only.
Anticipation is building for Memphis football.
3, 2, 1, that's your winner!
With a cast of returning stars ready for the big stage.
Caught! Rock Taylor! Touchdown Tigers!
The momentum for Memphis football is on the rise.
Harrigan into the end zone. Tiger touchdown. He just wouldn't be denied.
It's time to pounce. So purchase your tickets today at GoTigersGo.com.
Now back to Sports Time on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Here once again are Brett Norsworthy and Bryant Dacus.
This is pretty cool, and we're just getting started, so.
Go crazy, folks! Go crazy! This is for all the biggest crunch time.
You are looking live. In your life have you seen anything like that? Goodbye! Hello, Haskell.
It's obviously crunch time.
Hammer, nail, coffin, this baby is over.
The double steak grilled cheese burrito, so good. Double the steak with nacho cheese sauce, seasoned rice, red strips, sour cream, and the 3-cheese blend wrapped inside a warm flour tortilla, with even more 3-cheese blend grilled on the top. The double steak grilled cheese burrito, it hits the spot now at Taco Bell. And at Taco Bell, when they say they are feeding people's lives with unexpected good, they mean it. Bowl food you can't get anywhere else.
Well, Brett, what I learned today is that Major League Baseball officially implemented a newly integrated statistics database, which includes the Negro League stats, which I think is great. I've always hated that it's so hard at times to find some of those stats for those games and those players.
It's a part of the history.
It absolutely is.
It should be recognized.
Yeah, and you know, unfortunately, was before a time that those players had the right to play with other in the major leagues, which is just so sad to even think about. But one thing that I do hate kind of today that I've seen a lot of is people are talking about the great players from that time that weren't allowed to play in Major League Baseball, and it's almost like we're just learning who they are and how great their legacy is.
Great point.
And
how do
hate
people
that.
not? How do sports fans and baseball fans not be able to rattle those names?
Exactly.
I would tell you 3 books that if you really want to get up to speed on the Negro Leagues, read this book. The title of the book was "Only the Ball Was White."
Okay.
the book on Satchel Paige and the book on Hank Aaron. And he talks about, I think maybe a year he did play, but that Jackie Robinson had already taken the arrows and made it easier for him. And Brian, I swear, I did a book report. Did you ever do a book report in your life?
Oh, I love book reports, Brett.
I did a book report on Cool Papa Bell when I was in the 7th grade.
That?
You know where he was from? Born in?
No, I don't.
Starkville, Mississippi.
You're kidding.
Cool Papa Bell.
Wow, I didn't know that. But I do hate that. It's almost like people are just learning these players just incredible players that, had it extremely rough and extremely hard of how they were having to play and those schedules and the travel and stuff and just the fact that they weren't, allowed to play in Major League Baseball makes me sick to this day. So I'm glad that they, it will now be easier to find some of those stats. But you said it earlier, Brett, about the jerseys, that if the Detroit Tiger jerseys aren't for you, they're traditional jerseys, maybe baseball isn't for you. If you don't know about those players before today, then maybe baseball is not for you. Maybe you need to do some reading up on the history of baseball.
Should the NBA incorporate APA statistics?
Well, that's interesting. I don't know, Brett. What do you think?
Instead of kind of having, for lack of a better word, segregated. You go to Basketball Ref and you see NBA and like Dr. J and Charlie Scott and Artis Gilmore. It's not incorporated into their NBA numbers.
Interesting. I don't know.
What I learned today, Phase 1 underway at Simmons Bank Liberty Stadium. I love that video release from Jeff Crane, the University of Memphis. They got a good man in his interim, and I think I know I'd be fine with him taking over. Most of that work, as he explained, you won't really see. It's very necessary to get it all on that eastern side and get it all kind of in one central hub. The Phase 2 is what we'll start seeing with demolition. Here's what concerns me, though. After Phase 2, the capacity is going to be 42,000. Money's not guaranteed for Phase 3. Phase 1 and Phase 2, the money's there.
Yeah.
I'm afraid we settle in at 42,000 as capacity.
Interesting. That would definitely be
it would be cozy for the Tigers.
Certainly.
Southern Heritage Classic and Liberty Bowl would not like that at all.
No. Not at all.
The SEC will not like being in a 42,000-seat stadium.
No, not at all. What I could have done without, it's got to be the big news this afternoon. David Jones is keeping his name in the NBA draft. Jason Munz is doing a fantastic job this afternoon, getting updates, trying to reach out to people to update his story. This was his latest tweet. For what it's worth, I spoke to a source very close to David Jones who said, quote, Memphis was amazing. The kid really wants to seize the opportunity. That's all. He loved that place. End of quote. Also told Jones has workouts with Hornets and Pistons coming up. So as much as I hate it that he will not be back in a Memphis Tiger uniform, I wish him the best. I hope that he's able to get with a team in the NBA and is able to stick. And you never know. I mean, we always hear stories and talk about the Miami Heat with what they do with guys like that, and maybe he finds somewhere where he can really, turn into a great player, because he definitely showed flashes while he was here at Memphis.
Well, I could have done without this, but now it's case closed. The whole occurrence at Valhalla with Scotty Scheffler. He almost deserves the Nobel Prize for how he's been able to handle this, and could anyone had ever in any walk of life handled it that cluster any better than he did. You reverse a lot of this for a lot of walks of life, for a lot of athletes, a lot of entertainers, and we would have had some serious hot takery over this, wouldn't we?
100%. Absolutely. But, that's Scotty Scheffler, I guess, just a great guy. Where are you beaming tonight?
Beam me to Target Field in Minneapolis.
Okay.
I said after being up there for 8 days at Super Bowl 52, I'd never chance it, but only on the beaming machine.
Love it.
And in the summertime
That's
when
right.
I go back to Minneapolis.
That's right. Well, how could I not, on a night where we don't have basketball, not beam to the hockey Stars and Oilers in Edmonton? Give me the mic. Let me sing "O Canada" to start the game. Should be a fun one.
How about that tonight? Cubs at Brewers also, and 37-18 Cleveland at Coors Field.
Yeah.
And last night a Coors Field game broke out.
Yeah, it sure did. It's going to be a fun night of baseball. Got that one hockey game in there, and we'll have basketball back tomorrow night. But enjoy your night. That's all the time we have, and we'll talk to you again tomorrow afternoon.
Nestled in the heart of East Memphis,